A week ago, American International played their best game of the season in knocking CW Post from the ranks of the undefeated. They did it behind a pounding running game led by the elusive Rashid Thomas and an inspired defensive effort led by its sackmaster, Jeff Kogel, who's among New England's leaders in dropping quarterbacks behind the line of scrimmage. For Ithaca, 94 is the dawning of a new era. Michael Welch takes over for the legendary Jim Butterfield, who retired with 206 wins and 3 national titles to his credit in 27 years with the Bombers. They come in at 2-2 and with a bit of a mystery on offense. They have moved the ball in the customary fashion, but they've had trouble getting it in the end zone. They'll consider their options on reversing that offensive course this afternoon and look to the D to swarm all over the Yellow Jackets. The questions of the day: will the Bombers be defused by AIC, or will the offense finally explode on the Yellow Jackets here in Springfield, Massachusetts? We'll find out today on Sports Channel. The ECAC Game of the Week is brought to you by the Chevy dealers of New England. Start where more people end up. And by the Spalding Top Flight J5V, the offensive weapon.
The ECAC Game of the Week on Sports Channel. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Trench-Montaigne along with Dave Long. And on our ECAC Game of the Week this week, we've got a Division III versus Division II matchup. The Bombers from Ithaca against the Yellow Jackets from AIC.
Now we have two teams coming in and really settling into new systems. They've got new coaches. Art Wilkins at AIC was an offensive coordinator at South Carolina. He comes in, takes over the job. And Coach Welch at Ithaca, he comes in, taking over for a legend, Jim Butterfield. And they're both 2-2, and they're really kind of settling into their systems. They're doing something well, and they're doing some other things not quite so well.
For AIC, they're coming off a big win.
They are coming off a big win. They beat a very good team. We were down 2 weeks ago. We saw Post Lambay, Central Connecticut, 42-14, and they pretty much did the same thing, at least on the scoreboard. 34-14 was the score. Post did rack up a lot of yardage. They had 475 yards or so on the ground, but they created a lot of turnovers, 7 turnovers, and they really got their offense going.
Your feeling on this game is that the battle may be won on the ground.
I think it runs on the ground, particularly in the case of AIC. And the 2 games that Rashid Thomas has ran for over 180 yards or so, and they piled up the yards on offense. They have won, and they have played very well. But in their 2 losses, he's gotten a total of 79 yards in those games, and they haven't done as well. On the other side of the ball, Ithaca gives up a lot of yards on the ground. So I think the game really will turn in this situation here. If Ithaca can do the job and slow Thomas down, I think they have a good shot at winning the ball game.
Very interesting scenario on both sides of the ball regarding the quarterbacks coming into this one.
Yeah, they have an interesting situation. They're going to rotate quarterbacks in the part of AIC. Sans is going to get the start. He'll go for 2 downs, and then they're going to switch quarterbacks, and he'll go in for 2 series, and then they'll go 2 series with the backup, and they're going to see who does the best. On the other side of the ball, Ithaca is going to change quarterbacks. Jim Betts is going to move in after they have had problems. They've moved the ball well, but Ithaca has had problems getting the ball in the end zone. They've been in the red zone about 6 times in the last couple of games, haven't been able to score, so they're trying to change it up. So put your wagers on their quarterback, Jim Betts.
Defensively, both teams have a couple of players who stand out, but perhaps the most fierce defensive player in this game will be Jeff Kogel.
Well, that was the big thing, I think, in last week's game against Post. AIC, as I said, they gave up 475-odd yards on the ground, or through the air in combination, but they made the big plays. They had 7 turnovers. Part of the reason they had 3 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries. Part of the reason was the fact that Kogel and his mates did such a great job of pressuring the quarterback. They had 6 sacks. Kogel had 4.
It's the Ithaca Bombers against the AIC Yellow Jackets on the ECAC Game of the Week. We'll be back with the kickoff after this. Back at John Homer Miller Field here at American International College. Scott Trench-Montaigne and Dave Long all set for the ECAC Game of the Week. Glad you're with us today. Boy, what a beautiful football day. I don't know what it is, Dave, but we keep getting humdingers for weather.
I tell you, this is the best one yet.
I know.
Our opening game, Northeastern New Hampshire, was pretty good.
There's a look at our officials today. William Oldbach, James Banash, Charles Kalis, Richard Lynch, and Jack O'Keefe. And Ithaca will start with the football as they won the toss and elected to receive. Back to receive for the Bombers, Jeff D'Alessandro and Todd Sandagato. Sandagato is 17 in white. He's their leading receiver.
Does just about everything. Returns punts, catches the ball out of the
as a wide receiver, holds on extra points.
Reverse. Sandagato handed off, but not a lot of running room as the Ithaca Bombers trying to get outside. Nothing there for Jason Potts as he took the handoff from Sandagato and just ran out of turf.
And I'll tell you, they were lucky. Todd Nestor had his hands on the back of one of the guys with the black shirts, and they could have picked up a push from behind. Wasn't a real serious one of those interpretation calls, I think, by the official. But you get a guy who's calling pretty close. That definitely is a block from behind.
Jim Betts, the starting quarterback over Murphy today for Ithaca. His first start this year. 1st and 10 from the 15. Actually from the 10. They need to get up to the 20, and they only got a couple there.
Didn't get real fancy. They just came out with the dive. As you mentioned, Scott, Betts gets the start. And there is the offensive team. But Betts gets the start at quarterback. He's the only change. And they have moved the ball very well, averaging over 300 yards a game in total offense, but they have not been able to get the ball in the end zone. They've had real difficulty. 3 points they scored a week ago, averaging about 12 a game.
Betts on the keeper. Betts with some room. Jim Betts up over the 30.
It's interesting. That was the question I had coming in, or at least one of the things we focused coming into the ball game, was they have a lot of a number of people. They have 5 guys who have over 100 yards gained, including the quarterback Murphy. And I was wondering if they were going to lose something in the running game and the option. But here comes Betts, as he does a nice job, elects to keep it on the inside. As the containment tried to force them wider on the outside, he saw the hole and just took it up. But that answers the first question I have. They still have a lot of variety in that offensive running package.
Betts to throw, and he lost his footing. The senior out of Hamden, Connecticut, just got some bad turf there.
I'll tell you right now, as we take a look at the defensive team, Jeff Kogel, the big guy, 2-to-1 as the leading tackler on the team, unassisted tackles. He's 2-to-1 over anybody else in the team. Had 4 sacks. Micah Pierce, the guy from the secondary who makes the big hits. But as we said, Kogel, 5 sacks, I believe, or 5 sacks for the season, 4 last week, and by far the leading tackler on that Yellow Jacket team.
2nd down and 14, back at the 28. Betts to throw. Batted down.
Watson, the big guy, looks like a football player, doesn't he? There he is, big number 48. Billy Watson gets a big right hand. Take a look at the replay. And it's from the backfield, as you can see. In the past, looked like there was an opening, but from where we were looking, but Watson was there the whole time. No way it gets over the top. And Billy out of Brooklyn, New York. Call him the Brooklyn Bridge, I think, with that kind of a wingspan.
3rd and 14 for the Bombers from their 28. Betts rolling. Wants Sandagato down the sideline. Too much.
And I will tell you, sorry, Scott.
Sandagato's going to think he was held up.
And I'll tell you, they got the chuck at about the 45-yard line, but that was great defense. Corey Mickens played it all the way. They tried to go to the pump fake. He didn't bite. He gave the bang at about the 45-yard line, and he just had the wide receiver wrapped up. Sandagato just wrapped up, and they had no chance to get that one in there.
Ed Mahoney punting for Ithaca at his 15.
Special teams is a strength of the part of Ithaca. They've got a 2-to-1 return yardage to the people that they're playing. This is a low kick, though, with a lot of room to run.
Joel Platt at his 40, taken down on the shoestrings. Nice tackle there by Aaron Jones.
Tell you what, there's an example. They've got some guys. Looked like he had a lot of running room there, Scott, but he, the nice open field tackle made right there as we take a look at the offense.
We're told we're going to see Matt Sons for 2 offensive series, and then we'll see Keon Russell at quarterback for 2 offensive series. It's kind of like quarterback auditions today.
And as we said, I think this is the area where the game turns. Rashid Thomas, 180 some odd yards or in that neighborhood last week. Opening win that they had, or as they opened the season, they had over 240 yards. And that is when they play well, when they can do that.
Sons in trouble. He's down at the 35.
Not their strength. In fact, I think one of the big things that the Yellow Jackets have to do is, you see, nice job, we'll take a look at the defense, but one of the things the Yellow Jackets have to do is make hay or get good yardage on 1st and 2nd down and not put themselves in those 3rd and long situations. passing game is only getting about 40%. As you take a look at the defense, only getting about Eric Squires there made the big play on the stop, but they're only getting about 40% completion in their passing game, and they've got a lot of sacks, so they've got to get themselves out of that position.
2nd and 15. Sans got about 5 of it back.
But now it's 3rd and 10. You know, they have a disparity on their turnovers in terms of passing anyway. They're pretty good in their ratio of recovering fumbles, and I think that was helped last week in the win over Post. They had 4 fumble recoveries in the ball game. They didn't lose any, so that gave them a +4. But as I say, I think they have to rely on their running game. They've got to do well on 1st and 2nd down and keep themselves out of 3rd and long.
3 receivers for AIC. Nice block. Sans has some time, just dumps it off. That'll be short of the 1st down as the ball was hauled in by number 89 for AIC, Steve Hayes.
I'll tell you, big Steve. Steve is a big man. Watch this. A lot of time for Sans on the rollout. He's going to roll to your right on the screen, and they go underneath. Hayes just comes out. You've got him going to the right-hand corner of your screen. Actually, they go over the dump man. There is Hayes, and he is open underneath, but that comes up short about 7 yards.
Jeff Whittier, the punter. He's already punted 28 times in 4 games. He's averaging 33 yards a punt. Dropped return. Who's got the football?
Looks like Sandegato has it. There he is at the bottom of the pile. There's a nice block in the middle of your screen. It looks like he just felt pressure coming from his right side and looked just a little bit because the return was going to the left-hand side. Fall on it, what coach would tell you, but he didn't. He decided to pick it up and try and run. Not a lot to gain right there. Got to get the football back before you can run it.
1st and 10 for the Bombers at their 20. A little mix-up in the backfield as Betts got caught up with Hodari Martin, but Martin still made something out of it.
Nice job, Martin. They tackle him with the arms, had Martin wrapped around the right arm. He just shook free and went off of the left guard. Pickup, looks like he picks up about 4. Nice pickup. AIC Scott goes with the 3-man front, 4 linebackers and the 2 cornerbacks and the 2 deep safeties. So they're going to let their linebackers let their linebackers make a lot of tackles.
Betts on the keeper. Another big hole for Jim Betts. He's at midfield.
And that is the 2nd time. Betts, I think, has answered, as I said. That's the exclamation on the answer to my question.
He's rubbing it in on you, isn't he?
That's right. Dave, we're showing you what you don't know. But watch him. The linebacker, Watson, 48, goes with the running back. I believe it's Martin, and there is the opening as he just takes it up. There's no pursuit coming in from the right-hand side of the inside linebacker, and he just has a lot of room to run. That linebacker in that spot has got a key on the quarterback. He picks who he's going to take in the king, and he went to the outside that time, and that left a lot of room. He needs some help coming up from behind him if he's going to do that.
1st and 10 from the 49. Martin again.
I think Betts has 39 yards already. He's trying to push to become the 6th player with over 100 yards rushing for the Bombers.
Micah Pierce and John Beer getting tangled up downfield, and the flag's coming against AIC.
Not the kind of penalty you want this early in the ball game. Those guys are battling out front, trying to establish themselves so they each remember each other. And you don't back away, but you've got to watch what you're doing. This one's going to march it off, bring him inside the 35-yard line, I believe.
Micah Pierce, number 7 in black, plays with a lot of emotion. 2nd on the team in tackles with 35. And he's got 2 interceptions as well. But he's not pleased with that call right there. Moves the Bombers up to the 31-yard line when we got 1st and 10.
I tell you, Art Wilkins isn't too pleased with that play on 2 accounts. The guy who did it and probably the call.
Betts again on the option. Jimmy Betts opts to keep, and good decision as he's down to the 15.
Penalty flag on the play, though. Once again, I mean, there's not much to say in this replay. As we can take a look at it, he does exactly the same thing. The key here is to watch the linebacker, see what he does. On the right-hand side, it's Jermaine Harris I'm guessing. I didn't really see it, number 44, but watch him if we get a chance to take a look at the replay. And that one hurts. Take a look at the replay. Betts just takes it down the line of scrimmage. The cornerback shuts off the running back, and he just gets aside. That's Watson once again. Gets outside of Watson. And he just outruns him. And there is Harris making the tackle coming from the far side of the field.
The Ithaca Bombers, 3-time national champions in Division III, 3 different decades as well.
Actually, they are the Yellow Jackets are in the 3 linebacker linemen, 4 down linemen. So they've got to get help from the cornerbacks. The cornerback did a nice job in that play to shut it down, but someone's got to step in the gap and get to Betts.
1st and 14, Betts to the air. Looking to the end zone, Sandagato, touchdown! 34-yard touchdown pass to Todd Sandagato.
And he just ran by Morgan Lee on the left-hand side. That's just on the straight drop, but by this time, Sandagato is by Lee on the left-hand side, and there he goes, and it just hangs up a little bit, but not enough to allow Anthony Palmieri to get there and block it and take it away. And right off the bat, Ithaca gets on the board, and they've got to like that. Nice switch already. I will tell you, I'll bet Mike Welch likes that switch.
Here's Mike DeMay for the extra point. Sandagato holding. And we got flags again.
And I think Corey Mickens hit the kicker as he went by on the extended leg. But it doesn't appear that they'll probably march that one off as they 5 plays, 80 yards in that drive. Not exactly a ball control drive. Took them 134 to score.
Well, Betts the key to that scoring drive with the fine runs on the option and the great pass to Sandagato. We wondered why they were opting to bench Murphy and start Betts today, but apparently Mike Welch saw something in Betts, and he certainly is delivering early on in this first quarter. We've got 9:59 to play in this first quarter. Bombers on top by 7.
You know, sometimes it's the offense must have been, we have not seen them this year, but must have been executing, at least moving, executing well enough to move the ball over 300 yards, 340 yards or so in total offense, is moving the ball. So it's about 100 yards a game more than AIC has had, although AIC they've had 4 games, 2 separate sets of games where they've really racked up a lot of yards, and in the other 2 they haven't gotten many yards, but that indicates that they're doing things right, and Coach Mike Welch made the change maybe because he figured that they needed, just to change things up just a little bit, just make a little bit of a shift and see if they could punch in a couple early, and they have at least acted on that on the first or the second drive of the game.
Rashid Thomas at the 10. And he's out of bounds up by the 25.
And once again, Ithaca showing what they do well on the special teams. As I mentioned earlier, the return yardage, both in kickoffs and in punt returns for the Bombers, is about a 2-to-1 edge over the players that they are. There's a good shot of Rashid, who took it back, but that's an edge. I think that's an underrated aspect of football, a special team. Sometimes people will kind of overlook that area, but it really, in many cases, determines, number 1, field position, and number 2, it leads to a lot of turnovers, or can lead to a lot of turnovers.
Man in motion on 1st and 10 from the 25. Rashid with the first down, up by the 40.
Nothing fancy right there. They just went over the left tackle. And Rashid Thomas has the quickness. The big thing with him is to watch him coming out, the explosion once he gets the ball, the acceleration when he sees a hole. They gave it to him there, and he had a little bit of an option to either go outside or cut it up inside. He took it inside, and he had the acceleration once the hole was there to be past the linebackers before anybody really realizes what's going on.
Thomas averaging more than 5 yards per carry. Gets the call again. Rashid Thomas up over midfield. That's another first down.
A marked difference from the first series where they went to the pass right away. I think maybe they were trying to catch the Bombers napping. Take a look at the replay. As I said, nothing fancy, just a deep handoff. They give him a little bit of room, and there he has. Great block by the tight end who pushed the cornerback to the outside. Thomas saw it, and he just cut up inside, took it up into Bomber territory.
Thomas had 179 yards and 3 touchdowns against CW Post last week, averaging, as I said, over 5 yards per carry. He had just under 500 yards on the season coming into this game. Here he is again.
And that was a big yardage-saving arm tackle on the play as they're coming up. Take a look. This time it's the draw. I don't think as the game wears on, that's going to fool anybody. I don't think they're going to be expecting those guys to pass it. And Brian Ramaki with the arm tackle comes out of the right-hand side of your screen, and Thomas goes down. Tell you what, he's got pretty strong arms. If he can bring down a guy like that with one arm as he's flying by him.
Grab him by his toe and trip him up.
Had the thigh pad. Luckily, there was a handle there.
Thomas on 2nd and 9.
That one, a couple of delivered the hit. Scott Conley came in from the linebacker spot and put his hat right in Thomas's stomach. Thomas picks up a couple, so it's probably going to be, looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 6. And there was Scott Conley getting a chance to play relatively close to home.
Rashid Thomas, the junior, he's 5'9" and listed at 195 pounds out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. And a big 3rd down play here. It's 3rd and 7. Son downfield. Complete but out of bounds.
What a
no
block.
Good.
What a block by Thomas. He took out 2 guys as Sons rolled to his left. Thomas was back in the coverage, and he hit 2 people in the ankles. Take a look at this. It's coming out of the backfield. It's right on the right-hand side of your screen. One goes down, and then the 53 goes down over the other side. And here's the pass, and his feet are out of bounds as he comes down. That is Lockhart.
Whittier with a nice high punt. Sandagato wisely calls for the fair catch. That was a rainmaker. Right at the 10-yard line, Sandagato made sure he got his hands on this one. Let's take a break here from John Homer Miller Field. The score, Ithaca Bombers 7, AIC Yellow Jackets nothing. Back in the ECAC Game of the Week here at American International College. And while we were away, Ithaca Bombers ran 2 plays to Hadari Martin. He picked up the 1st down on the 2nd run, but illegal use of the hands called against the Bombers, and the penalty will knock them back and set up a 2nd and 14.
And the obvious point is that it puts him in dangerous territory, especially in the area of the option. Betts has not had to throw the little lateral back to the running back, but it is a problem in that area. He's got to be careful.
Betts rocked hard at the 5. They tried the quarterback keeper again.
And a penalty flag comes down out of the middle of that. Not exactly sure, too many bodies there, but here's the replay. Betts, I think, makes a good choice. Kogel is on him right there, and kind of holding on to the football. Instinct when you're in trouble like that is to try and get rid of it, but that is a bad spot to try and do something like that.
Jesse Vickers finally put the final wraps on Betts. And I think AIC.
And I think that's got to be, it's going to be some kind of a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That's my guess, because it came so long after the whistle had blown.
And this helps the Bombers quite a bit. Gets them out of that real dangerous territory down near the 5 and pushes them up near the 20.
And that's a big mistake in a situation
Very big
like
mistake.
that. That's the 2nd one already. I mean, we've still got 6:55 remaining in the 1st period. The first penalty gave Ithaca 15 yards and really put them in. They scored on the next play and moved them deep into AIC territory. And this one gets them out of a big jam. That was going to be 3rd down and 10 to go. And now they've given a 3rd and 1 situation at the 20. They'd have been punting from inside the end zone.
Mike Welch and Jim Betts want a timeout to talk it over, so we'll take a timeout here from AIC with the score Ithaca 7, AIC nothing. 1st down and 10 for the Ithaca Bombers at their 23-yard line with 6.5 minutes to play this 1st quarter. Bombers already on top, 7-0. Jason Blood on the pitch, reverse to Sandagato.
Great block. Not that great, though, as the flag goes down.
Rauschenberger, I think, is going to get called on the clip, as he just saw a black shirt and decided he was going to try and put him down. Illegal use of the hands. Good job with deception, though. I didn't really pick it up right away.
Well, they call that the illegal block of the back, but maybe we can see it better on the replay. I thought it was relatively clean.
Might have been. I thought he might have been in that zone where you can do that.
Sometimes you run into those plays on reverses because you've got people turning and trying to come back and follow the play.
Okay, this one's going to move it back about probably to about the 12-yard line or so.
Actually, inside the 10. It's at the 8, so they're back in danger. Had a penalty that brought them out of danger, and now a penalty that put them back in a perilous situation.
And it's a 15-yard penalty inside the 30. I thought it was half the distance to the goal. I have to read my rule book.
1st and 25 from the 8. Ithaca plays it safe, keeps it on the ground. Hadari Martin bowls his way up to the 15.
Kogel and Watson were the two guys in on the play, but it was the leg churn of Martin who kept it. He was hit right around the line of scrimmage and just kind of kept things going. I think the Bombers are more equipped to deal with inside the 10-yard line and long than AIC is. AIC, as we have said a couple of times already, their success depends on ground game, but it's tough to run on 1st and 25. The Bombers have a little bit better passing game.
Betts keeps it on the option, and he's taken for a loss.
Nice job by Ballounis. He kind of just stretched along the line of scrimmage. They're getting used to him deciding to turn it up. Should take a look at the replay. Ballounis, I believe, is on the right-hand side, number 95. And he knows Betts, he learned from those 3 plays that Betts is going to likely to turn it up. And he just uses some pretty surprising quickness to get to him before Betts had a chance to do that. Nice job on the defensive end, before the defensive end.
3rd down and nearly 19 now.
They look to Sandagato more than usual on this play, and they're like...
Great catch by Sandagato. And he's inbound.
Oh, boy, it looked to me like his foot was right on the line.
45-yard line, Sandagato hauls it in. Betts pump faked once, and then Sandagato released.
There's the replay, and he just turns it up. But look at this. 2 or 3 black shirts right around it, and Sandagato just goes up and gets it. Nice catch over the shoulder. Watch the foot as it comes down. There's the right foot. And looked to me like the right foot was definitely out of bounds. The left one, the right foot hit first. So to me, I think they got a break.
1st and 10 nonetheless from the 45. Martin. And he's stuck.
Jermaine Harris, outside linebacker, he plays on the weak side more times than not. Harris was the outstanding offensive player for the AIC last year. And he moved to the defensive backfield. Moved to the defensive side of the ball this year because they had a couple of holes. That's versatility. He was if this was Division I, he'd be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, the ability to do that, or he'd have like a contract for cross-training shoes.
2nd and 9. Betts throwing to a spot, and his receiver was not there. He was looking for Pete Grugelis.
And Grugelis was going to another spot. That one, by the way, in the previous play, Martin already has 7 carries for 28 yards. So throwing Betts is 40 yards on the ground. They've already got 70 yards on the ground here in the first period. Still 3:50 to go. My math wizardry would project that to be over 300 yards on the ground.
Well, they need some yards here on 3rd and 9. Betts, quick turn, quick pitch to Martin. Big defensive play.
Watson just shot the gap. He wasn't waiting that time. He was keen on the running back. Watch him come through. Top part of your screen on the right-hand side. like a bolt of lightning. There he is, boom. And as we mentioned a couple of times, Watson has been going with the running back and allowing the quarterback bets to cut inside. That time they made the pitch, and he had the key on the right guy and just took him down. Big play by Billy Watson.
And the punt is a wobbler.
So the kind of roll, though.
Yeah, good bounce if you're a Bomber fan. It's down at the 21-yard line.
Now, if you could kick those on purpose like that, you do it all the time because you're deathly afraid to catch them, number one, and they always seem to get that top spin roll.
Joel Platt was back to return, but he would have none of that. Probably a pretty good move not to try and field that one. Still decent field position. You're up over the 20. First and 10 from the 21 for the Yellow Jackets, and they trail 7-0 with just over 3 minutes to play.
If you're giving little notches for little mini victories and losses, let's give the Ithaca offense the little notch that time because they got themselves out of danger and put AIC back on the 20 when they should have probably had better field position than that coming out of an exchange where they would have liked to anyway, with Ithaca getting the ball inside the 10.
Thomas got a couple there as he crashed over the right side.
There's the guys talking it over on the offensive side of the ball for the Bombers.
Now, we had mentioned that AIC would change quarterbacks after 2 series, and they have done that. Keon Russell now leading the Yellow Jackets as Son had his 2 series. Here's Rashid Thomas turning the corner. Thomas tiptoeing up near the 40.
Nice job on the stiff arm. Hit Devin Lutz with that right arm, gave himself an extra 5 yards. As he comes out of the bottom right-hand part of your screen, Lutz will come up and watch the right arm. He's using his speed and boom, gets rid of Lutz, picks up an extra 5 yards and then runs out of bounds. But heady running on the part of Thomas, and I think he saw a good example of the speed that he's got. He's got 43 yards already on 5 carries.
First down from the 36. Keon Russell on the keeper. He's got a first down. He's up near midfield and a flag.
That's usually in an area where they're going to call holding on someone. Sometimes it's on the, I'm not sure who. I didn't really see it. But once again, he just did to the Bombers what Best has been doing the Yellow Jackets. He just ran it down the line of scrimmage and saw that hole. And look at the acceleration. Take a look at the replay. Watch the acceleration. Once he sees the hole around the right-hand tackle, he comes up, he sees the hole, he's not pitching to anybody, and boom, the speed, he turns it up, and then he just outruns people right here. He's by 2 defenders, and then goes out of bounds, and I'm still really didn't see the penalty, but it is being marched back against the Yellow Jackets. Kind of an unorthodox move, Scott, for coach to rotate quarterbacks every 2 series or so.
Now, Russell is the freshman out of Brooklyn, New York. Sons is a junior out of Treadwell, New York, and I think he wants to see what Russell can do.
And here's a look at the score. When was the last successful quarterback? I've never seen a quarterback platoon like that, but sometimes different teams will put guys in different situations. Not very often.
Remember Tony East and Steve Grogan?
Yeah, but that was one guy's hurt, they put the next guy in, that guy's hurt, then they bring in the... Of course, they threw in Doug Flutie the year after that as well. And the Cowboys rotated on plays with Roger Staubach and Craig Morton in their early days playing together.
So 1st and 9 for the Yellow Jackets. Thomas, not much there.
I mean, I could see... I've never quite understood why you can't play 2 quarterbacks, why you have to have one guy. If you have 2 who are very different, one's a passer and one's a runner. So if situations dictate it's time to put the runner in the game, like you've got a 2-touchdown lead, you're trying to run some clock, and you put the guy in who can run with some different sets of guys, I can understand that.
Oh, you tip your hand if you do that, though.
Well, but if you've got the 14-point lead, you're trying to kill time, then you know.
The key is to have one quarterback who can do it both.
You know what quarterback, whoever executes the best is the one who does.
Thomas! Rashid Thomas up to the 40-yard line in Bombers territory.
How about that? They made a 1st and 25 situation. They made the first down on running plays. So much for tipping your hand. Take a look at this. This is all quickness. That's the big thing there, and it's nice job of blocking on the outside to create a little bit of a funnel, and he's got the speed to take advantage. Look at the move there as he comes inside and almost trips himself up more than being tackled. But I'll tell you what,
This guy can run the football. He is fast.
Scott Grismer, the linebacker, 44 in white, kind of made a token effort, never got within 2 yards of Thomas.
Sometimes guys are just too quick to be able to catch.
He blew right by him.
I can remember playing basketball. We had a guy I played against in college was so quick. We tried to foul him at the end of the game because he would do a he would stall by himself. He just run around. He's too fast to foul. And in the sense that he is like this, Rashid Thomas is just too quick. You just give him a little bit of room and boom, he's gone.
Another mental mistake for the Yellow Jackets, a delay of game. Knocks them back to the 46, so 1st and 15.
I think they're a bit euphoric over making a 1st and 25 situation with 2 running plays.
Well, they got to get their heads in this game. They've made some costly penalties already. 48 seconds left in this first quarter. Russell to throw.
A lot of running room.
Boy, he's got a ton of room. Keon Russell. He should have a first down or close to it up near the 30.
He has quickness on that time, but I'll tell you what, you know what made the play there was the fake. And the fact that Thomas has been so effective running to the left. Here's the fake. Everybody bites on it, and as he gets to the right-hand side, he looks like he's kind of thrown, but he's got the acceleration. All kinds of room. First white shirt's going to come into your picture about 20 yards down the field, and then he just turns it up, burns away inside the 30-yard line. But I'll tell you what, right off the bat, I got a feeling we're going to be seeing Russell playing quarterback because they look sharp here.
The freshman wresting the job away from the junior. In trouble here. Russell trying to get away, and he actually did himself more harm than good by trying to elude that sack back at the 40. They finally got him down back at the 45.
Surprising call, though, on 1st and 10. They're looking to pass the football after the success they've had just pounding it away, and there are a swarm of white shirts. And that's a testament to Russell's athletic ability. Tough to get down, but sooner or later, when you've got about 6 or 7 guys around there, you're going to go down. But I have to wonder about the call there. As I say, Russell has 40 yards on the ground in this drive alone, and Russell has 2 long runs as well, and they go back and pass, which has not been the team's strength.
That's the end of the first quarter here from American International College. The score, Ithaca 7, AIC nothing. Pretty good first quarter for the Ithaca Bombers. They've got the 7-0 lead, but AIC starting to show some life here, Dave.
Yes, they are, and they've done it on the ground. You know, I made the comment that you wonder about the call. I mean, obviously, you're early in the game. You don't have to, you're doing a variety of things. They think maybe you can catch somebody napping, but the reality is they have just marched it down the field unimpeded. As I said, 4 carries, 39 yards for Thomas. Russell has a couple of long runs, and they got it going so well. Why go against it? I guess is the point I was trying to make, but we'll see what they're going to do here. Now they're in the passing situation. They've got 5-10, 2nd and 25. But they've already made first down in a situation like that and 2 down, so we'll see.
Keon Russell has been very impressive on the ground. Let's see what he can do in the air if he goes to the air here. It's 2nd down and 25. Russell to throw. Now he'll run. Keon Russell cuts outside, back inside, and he got a good chunk of it back. He's to the 35.
Was that a quarterback draw, or was that a design pass? And he just turned it into something.
I don't know. He looked downfield like he wanted to air it out, but the secondary had some pretty good coverage.
You know, we haven't even mentioned that we have not seen at fullback Jerry Watkins, also the leading receiver. He got a bruised contusion on the knee last week. He is dressed. And there is Jerry. He is the leading receiver. They like to throw a lot of that under the passing coverage in the flats underneath to the fullback.
Russell looking to throw on the run. Complete. As Russell found his tight end, Steve Hayes, and Hayes puts him in a relatively decent 3rd down situation.
Actually, it's going to 4th down.
Oh, now 4th, yeah.
Once again, take a look at this on the run. They're throwing underneath. They favor that rather than throwing it downfield. They like the tight end fullback passing game. And although Hayes is open, he is 10 yards shy of, in terms of about 12 or 13 yards shy, and he turns it in. There's the nice open field tackle.
4th and 9, AIC going for it inside their 30.
This is 4 down territory.
Russell has protection, looking deep.
Oh, great defensive play.
Intercepted in the end zone by AIC's Jason Potts.
Except I hate to say this, he would have been better knocking it down. Would have had the ball at about the 30-yard line. Instead, the exchange is going to be on the 10. But this is a great job. They've got Russell on the roll, but Potts, watch it on the top right-hand side of your screen, didn't really get as much on it, but there Potts for a second looked like he was beat, but he had sealed the receiver against the sideline, and there really had to be a perfect pass to get it in there. There's Jason Potts, but since the pass wasn't perfect, but tell you what, if they don't get a touchdown, that's the play you'd like to see. They get 10 yards on the exchange. But nonetheless, instincts take over when you're in a situation like that. The ball's up there, you got to get it.
That's to throw. And he overthrows Sandagato, who was open.
Yeah, he was wide open on the kind of the curl pattern, as they had sent the other receiver on the right-hand side deep to bring out the zone. Sandagato curled underneath, but Betts just missed him. John Beer was the wide receiver on that side of the field.
$13-18 to play in this second quarter.
They're going to change the ball. Betts is 2 for 6 in the game for 60 yards. Of course, one of them was the touchdown pass to Sandagato.
And the other one was the long pass to Sandagato, where it was questionable as to whether or not he was in bounds or not. He's got 2nd and 10 here from the 20.
No tight end.
Betts rolling. Oh, he's in trouble and he got sacked. He got hit hard. I was going to say you better throw it, but I didn't even finish the phrase before he got hammered.
Well, I was going to say you better duck, because that one he took the helmet right below the shoulder pads.
Matt Murphy got him.
Comes out from the right-hand side. He's right in the middle of your screen, and he just trails Betts, who just takes a little bit too much time. You usually don't have a lot of time in a situation like that. It was only about a 3-yard drop off the line of scrimmage. And I think the offensive line was going to the right, and they just kind of pulled out. And he was supposed to pass it a lot quicker than he did.
Murphy got right past Eric Langanke.
Oh!
Picked off! Intercepted! And a touchdown for AIC's Corey Mickens!
Mickens did a nice job of kind of laying in the weeds. There is Corey. He's in the lower right-hand side of your screen. It's the roll. It was a pretty good pass, or at least he got a lot on it. Looks like he's going to get the the completion to Sandagato. But it looks like Mickens steps out as he goes in, but he does a nice job of kind of hiding, reading the quarterback, and timing the throw. That sideline's kind of wavering, moving back and forth. We had 2 down there.
The extra point is up and good for Brian McManus. And the score is tied 7-7 here at AIC. This is the ECAC Game of the Week on Sports Channel. Corey Mickens, the senior cornerback out of Roosevelt, New York, ties things up in a hurry here for AIC with his interception and return for a touchdown. And we're at 7.
Corey almost celebrated a little bit too soon. Started about the 15-yard line with the hand up in the air. I don't know. Make a mistake like that, you deserve what you get, I think. But certainly made a nice play. This is from the far sideline. And there goes Mickens. His body is blocked there. He just steps right in, number 3. Takes it off down the sidelines, and he's about 2 steps away from starting to celebrate.
McManus to kick away. It's a short kick. Sandagato at his 20. Sandagato. He's well up over the 35-yard line.
Sonny Emery on the tackle. Big guy coming down. Time of possession so far, Scott, a little bit to the side of Ithaca. 10-16 in the first 18 minutes of the ball game. AIC 8-12, and a lot of that was picked up the last time AIC had the ball as they went down the field with their very dangerous running game.
First and 10 from the 37. But Ari Martin rumbles up to the 42.
Just attacking on the left-hand side, nothing real fancy. Now here's the thing with the quarterback. You know, you've had the rollout. As I said, he had a lot of zip in that ball. It's almost like climbing back up on, especially for a young quarterback, a guy who's starting his first ball game. You know, there's that confidence factor. What happens when he goes to the sideline again? You know, more times than not, you're kind of better off getting him into a passing situation relatively quickly so he doesn't have the time to think about it. So he can execute and put that behind him.
2nd and 6 here. Jason Blood. And he actually fell forward to a 5-yard gain.
I think he's going to be just a little bit short, nothing fancy, just right over the right-hand side of that line. George Judwar, the right guard, knocks some people out of there, and there goes Blood into the pile, and he just falls forward. Kogan came over from the right end to make the tackle, but if your right end is making a tackle 5 yards deep in the back into your secondary, you got some problems. Linebacker's got to step in.
3rd and a yard. And Martin is tripped up, but he got the first down.
Tripped up, good word.
Well, it's a good thing he was, because he had a lot of daylight, Dave, if he had gotten past that.
Jesse Vickers got the legs out as he was laying down and tripped him up. Sometimes you got to be creative laying in there. In disguise, because you're not supposed to do that.
Ithaca, no doubt, would like to put together a long, time-consuming drive here. They're at midfield. Score tied at 7 with 10:45 to play. Betts looking downfield. Sandagato!
What a cut!
Todd Sandagato inside the 10.
What a great job of watching the football and knowing where the hole was. He had double coverage, and they thought he was going to go to the fly. At the last minute, he just cut inside of them, and Betts let it go after the cut. That was very smart job of finding a hole. Smart receiver, Sandagato. They've got 3 completed passes. He's got like about 35 yards a catch.
This guy, Sandagato, has got the goods. He gets to the ball.
Just as he makes the cut right about there, and then he gets the inside track and about a step or two on the defenders. There he is. He goes up and gets it, but the defenders couldn't react. Terrific play on the part of Sandagato.
1st and goal from the 9. Martin looking lateral. Good lateral motion, and he kicked it upfield to inside the 5.
Smart job by Kaminsky, the tight end. He had a chance to come back and almost a crackback block. Looked like he was going to lower, but it would have been a clip from behind. At the last minute, he pulled up, realized he couldn't get his head in front of the body. Watch number 88. I'm not sure if we're going to see him in the screen, but here he comes, right, that comes back into your picture. Anyway, we didn't get it, but it was a clever play.
2nd and goal from the 5. Martin again, stacked up. Kogel having a little word with Martin.
That's the pat on the back. That's the let by the wide receiver. That's to let Betts know that he is by and they can run that play in the quick hitter. It's almost a silent signal to the center to get the snap. Betts, by the way, has got 3 completions for 102 yards. If my math serves me correctly, it's 34 yards a pass completion.
And all 3 to Mr. Sandagato. Timeout on the field for the Bombers as they've got a big play here. 3rd and goal from the 4. You've got a quarterback who's a pretty good runner. Do you run the option out to the right side where you get a lot of room?
If I was AIC, that's exactly what I'd be expecting. You know, you put Martin in the coming out of that tailback slot, or at least the deep halfback spot, and Betts has had success with that. They've had more success on the cut-up rather than the pass. Watson's done a nice job there, but I have to think that the defensive coaches in the part of the Yellow Jackets have mentioned that on more than one occasion on a couple of decibel levels, maybe a little louder than a regular conversation. Get that guy. But I have to think that's what I'd be expecting. Or maybe a counter the other way. Look like you're coming there and then counter back against the grain. See if you can pick up something there.
Yellow Jackets trying to make the big defensive stand. 3rd and goal from the 4.
Got the big guy, Jason Blood, in there, too. He's got 5 yards in his 1 carry. As I said, they have a lot of options here on what to do with the football.
Beer in motion. Betts on the keeper. Is he in? Yes! Touchdown, Jimmy Betts.
I think the decibel levels are going to go up a little bit higher the next time they talk about it. That was straight run. He never even looked to pitch it back. Watch him. He tucks it under his arm at about the 2nd step.
Well, the point is we were all expecting it, but the other point is that it's been successful all game.
But that one wasn't even deceptive. That was just we're running right off the tackle. You got to stop the first option to prevent the touchdown before. I mean, the guy can't, the halfback can't score unless he has the ball, and he doesn't get the ball until you stop the quarterback. But as you say, let's not take anything away from Betts. He's done a good job on that.
Mike DeMay for the extra point. And it's straight and true. So the Bombers back on top by a touchdown. 14-7 with 9:35 to play in the 2nd quarter.
Watch it from the reverse angle. Betts is going to be coming at you from the far sideline. Look, he puts the ball underneath, and just a nice block by Blood to take the quarterback out of the play. Actually, it's Kogel out of the play. Tries to get back in there, but that just half a second split on the block by Blood held him up enough for Betts to be able to make the cut upfield.
And Micah Pierce was blocked off, too. That was 2 good blocks thrown to open that hole for Betts.
So maybe, you know, being not being infallible, let's say that Kogel made a nice play to shut down that run and turn him inside, and the good block held him off. Otherwise, he would have had him in the backfield. So maybe it was a matter of just real good execution on the quarterback's decision-making part, and good execution on the line in there, inside by AIC.
Mike DeMay kicking away from his 35. And a low line drive kick fielded at the 20.
Fumble.
Loose ball. Who's got it? Bombers say they do. The referees agree. Ithaca.
I think there's someone's injured on the field. Now he's rolling up. I think he got stunned.
Joe Gaddy on the return.
Looks like John Janice got his bell rung a little bit.
Here's Gaddy. Watch a crushing hit that'll jar the ball loose. Right there.
Hit him right on the ball as it goes free. Full speed tackle, put his helmet right on the ball, just shoulder pads, and just knocked it out of his grasp.
Jerry Anderson, the junior free safety out of Seneca Falls, caused that fumble. So 1st and 10 for the Bombers. Great field position right at the 30. Adari Martin got a couple.
And this is the job for a team. You know, Ithaca, we haven't really talked about their tremendous success over all these many years. 3 national championships, 1 in each of the last 3 decades. So this is a team with a tradition. And they've struggled a little bit, as we said, in the offense. They really look a lot better today.
Well, where they look good today, Dave, is inside the red zone. That's where they've struggled.
They haven't even been out so well. They scored in the last one, but they went for the deep touchdown by Sandegato.
Adari Martin again. Let's take a break here on the ECAC Game of the Week with the Bombers over the Yellow Jackets, 14-7. Big 3rd and 3 here for the Bombers. Blood, he's got it.
Nice job. That's the big banging back. They elected to just go off the left-hand side. Haven't run that side of the field as much as they have. Well, I checked that. No, they have. In the first period, they were running to the left a lot. And there's Jason, another guy who's getting a chance to play relatively close to home.
Out of Pepperell, Massachusetts. World-renowned for their Indian Head ski area.
I was wondering what they were renowned for.
Betts on the keeper. Didn't get much.
I knew it was for something.
Actually, they're more renowned in Pepperell for their small airport, which does quite a bit of skydiving. They teach parachuting there.
I've been there. That's what I thought they were renowned for.
Ask Jerry Callahan from the Boston Globe about it. He broke an ankle there, learning how to skydive.
Was that after he worked for the Herald or
during? 2nd down and 9 for the Bombers. Beer is in motion again. And Blood just kind of dives ahead for a few.
And as the Bombers move a little bit closer to the to trying to get it into pay dirt, they have a shot to in the first period. If they score here, they're going to be within a point and kick the extra point of their highest scoring game of the year, 22-11, in the win over University of Albany on opening day. And since then, they haven't been above 13. So things are they've kind of turned things around here a little bit, and they're doing a good job on the offensive end. Of course, here they got the big break off the fumble.
3rd and 7. Bets to the air. Has time and just kind of throws it away. He was looking for Chris Kaminsky, his tight end.
Yeah, I think that was a good job. He had a I think it was Kogel in his face as he went to pass, and he really didn't have a chance to get it over the top or a chance to get out of it, scramble out of the pocket. So he just kind of threw it away into an area that was close enough to the receiver to make it look good, but at the same time not pick up not put it in a position where it could be picked off.
Mike DeMay attempting a 32-yard field goal. Not much breeze here today. If there's any, it's at his back. Pretty good snap. And a pretty good kick.
And I'll tell you, there was a great catch by the guy behind the crossbar. Wow. Going over the shoulder, running away, catches a kind of a knuckleball.
Mike DeMay, the junior kicker out of Fairport. Connects from 32, and now the Bombers extend their lead to 10, 17-7 with 6.5 minutes to play in this first half.
I think it's important for AIC to get a good drive here. You know, they had the momentum rolling the last time they had the ball prior to the fumble, where they really took it down the field, and then they got themselves on the interception, couldn't convert on 4th down to pass into the end zone, but they really ran the ball very well. And I think to reestablish that, they need to just go right back to Thomas on this possession, just try and put it down the field. Control it right to the end of the first half.
Low bouncing kick just squirts out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
That looked like it was touched. Penalty flag down there, I guess not. I'll tell you what, that's if it is touched, that's a major mental mistake to allow that to happen, but in the case that it wasn't, he was a lot closer to it than me. He made the good play.
Gaddy made the judgment thinking, look at how close it was. It nearly rolled into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, I didn't think he touched it. I thought it was touched in the line up in front of him.
Oh, really?
But Gaddy makes the good play. He saw it. He was right there.
So on the penalty, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets at their 35.
I'm an old man over on the other side of the field at the 50.
Keon Russell, the quarterback who looked so good on the ground, but had his trouble through the air.
Only 11 yards on the air for the Yellow Jackets so far.
Rashid Thomas makes a great spin. And he picks up a couple yards. He would have been taken for a big loss.
How quick was that?
Very.
All right, we're going to go to cliche of the day number 1. You can't teach this. Watch it. He goes in. There's a lot of pressure on the right side. Boom on the spin. Just too quick for the defensive lineman. That's not fair for defensive linemen to have to deal with something like that.
Alan Rich is saying, which way did he go? I had him.
Alan, I wish I was rich. That one didn't fool anybody. Tried to go in the quick hitter, make everybody think on the reverse spin. They were coming back to Thomas or Russell on the option play coming to the wide side of the field, and Lockhart got it, but he didn't have anywhere to go.
Willie Lockhart is a senior out of Mattapan, Massachusetts. Haven't called his number much today as Rashid Thomas has carried the bulk of the load on the ground.
They use that spot for a blocker and a pass catcher, a lot like the Patriots do with Kevin Turner.
3rd and 7, Russell to throw. Steps out of trouble, and the pass is low.
What a move that was.
Well, he avoided trouble, but then he threw the ball into the turf. And I don't think he was really, I think he threw up the wrong foot, Dave.
I'm surprised he had any feet at all. I'm telling you, he could be a boxer with the quick feet he's got. He just jumped to the side to avoid the pressure, got out of it,
and then kind of hurried his throw. I mean, it's the tendency when you've got people all over you to do that. And I think he didn't realize how much he had gotten himself out of trouble and had a little chance to set himself. And maybe that is what happened. He threw off the wrong foot.
Jeff Whittier to punt from his 25. And Greer is back to return. Calls for the fair catch at the 28.
Good punt. They gave Sandagato, they gave him a break. That's the first time he hasn't been on for any special teams. Running back kicks, running back punts, or holding for touchdowns and field goals. Not to mention averaging 34 yards a catch so far in the ball game on 3 catches.
They give him an oxygen break over on the sideline. 5:11 to play in the second quarter, and Ithaca has really come back and answered the bell after AIC tied things up on an interception. Ithaca's come back with 2 scores, a touchdown and a field goal.
And capitalized. That was again, we talked about the trouble in the red zone inside the 20. They capitalized when they had the ball inside the 20 on both times. They got the touchdown and they got the big fumble, and they scored the field goal, or at least converted the field goal when the when the drive stalled.
Adari Martin never got out of the box there as Mike Duggan, the sophomore out of Levittown, New York, wrapped him up in the backfield.
Second down and 11 for the Bombers.
Pretty potent 1-2 running punch for the Bombers. Betts with 41 yards, Martin 42 on the ground. 83 combined, if my math serves me.
Betts looking and hitting. Get some punishment that time.
Kogel picks up sack number 6 on the season. Look at this. Everybody on the pattern, every player on that pattern was on the fly pattern, and the problem is, number 1, there's nobody back there to block inside the pocket, and number 2, it takes a long time to develop. And we've got the quickness of a Kogel who delivers, let's put it this way, the hat right on the chest knocks you back. You really have to have an outstanding job keeping people away from the quarterback by the offensive line, because you need a lot of time in a situation like that. I thought they did a pretty good job, but eventually you can't contain a defensive lineman forever.
3rd and 18 now. Watch Sandagato. He's the bottom of your screen. They keep it on the ground, oddly enough.
And doesn't get the job done. And there's Greg Murphy warming up on the sidelines, getting loose.
I was looking for another big play from Betts to Sandagato, but Mike Welch opted to play conservative.
Going to get good field position with the big loss coming out of the 25. They should get it somewhere around the 40.
Ed Mahoney with a great punt.
Forget the 40. What a punt.
Got back inside his 20. And crushed out of bounds near the 30. Joel Platt took a big hit as he was pushed out of bounds.
And there's the point I was trying to make earlier, or a graphic example around the point I was trying to make earlier about the job of the special teams. That punt was boom. He was inside the 20 from about the 25-yard line. I thought they were going to get the ball around the 40, and they push it back to the 30-yard line. And once again, I mean, it's good field position, but it's not great field position, and it's nowhere what you would expect they should have had, given where the punt was coming from.
That was a 55-yard kick.
That is consistent. It's not just one time. That's happened several times. And there's Platt on the field, still down.
Platt got hit real hard as Jason Potts and Jerry Anderson kind of double-teamed him there as they were pushing him out of bounds.
Going down.
They both fell on him.
The Montana football scores is New Haven 7, Valdosta 7 as in the second quarter.
Those are the kind that where you get the wind knocked out of you. Or many times anyway.
Harvard 7 in the second quarter.
There you see the story. Ithaca, the Bombers, Division 3, so far in command over AIC Division 2. And Dave, unless you told me, you couldn't really convince me that these two teams were in different divisions. Ithaca is just as strong and physical as AIC today.
AIC it goes a little bit bigger on the line, but as I said, Ithaca's had tremendous success over the years, and I guess it is, and it looks like he got it in the nose. As they're holding there, he's got the bloody nose. Probably got stung pretty good there, but Ithaca has the great tradition, as I mentioned, 3 national titles. over the last since 1979, and they have been a force to reckon with. And AIC down a little bit last year, but I think has terrific offensive potential.
Russell is out. Son is back in at quarterback, and he makes the completion right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't, as I said earlier, I think they've got to do well, keep themselves out of those third and long situations. I'm a guy who likes first down passing in that controlled passing game. Go underneath. In this case, they got 9, but you have a big cushion generally on first down in situations like that, and you can pick up 6 yards or so pretty easily, or at least with a lot less difficulty than you can on the ground in many cases, and that sets you up for good second down situations.
Son looking downfield.
Nice catch.
Good catch, but out of bounds.
Lockhart.
Was really Lockhart, and that's twice now that he's made good catches, but he was had his feet out of bounds.
Well, through no fault of his own, that kind. But there was the throw down.
Misconstrue my statement.
There was the throw downfield when they have a second and half a yard situation. Decide to go for a little bit more, catch him by surprise.
Trying to figure it out on the other side.
But once again, with the success that Thomas has had, it seems like they're going away from their strength.
3rd and 1 here. And that hurts.
Changes the call dramatically. We'll go to 3rd and 6.
Kevin Pond jumped the count in a big way.
Son's 2 for 5 for 16 yards so far.
Now Son will come over and have a word with Art Wilkins and his offensive coordinators. Instead of a 3rd and 1, now they've got a 3rd and 6, so it alters the play calling quite a bit.
I think I'd go with some kind of a draw, give the ball to Thomas. Change him up a little bit. I think they've shown a willingness to pass the ball in those rollout situations, maybe disguise a little bit, and put the ball in this guy's hands. There's a lot of room to the right-hand side of the field.
Son with one pump fake, now rolling and nearly picked off. I'm not sure who he was throwing to, if it was Lockhart or Thomas. He kind of threw in between both of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was throwing the ball away, but the result kind of worked out, because if he was a lot closer to getting the ball inside, here comes the roll, and there is the turn up, and the pass comes short. There's Lockhart short. Lopez, the tight end, who had turned it up a little bit, that needed a loft. That's tough to throw a touch pass when you're on the run like that, though.
Whittier punting from his 20. Sandagato back near his 30.
And
fair catch.
Penalty flag. Fumble.
Fumbled the fair catch. And we've got, I believe, a roughing the kicker penalty all the way back at the 20. So.
Yeah, the Bombers went for the rush that time. Everybody went in toward the punter to try to get it, and I think there could have been like 3 or 4 guys who hit him. Whittier on the punt. Watch this. Whittier gets it.
Mark Simonetti is saying that he ticked the ball.
There's 2 white shirts and a third coming in. Looks like it was the third guy coming through. Jason Hurlman got him when his foot was extended, but then the follow-through knocks him down while the other 2 guys are coming straight at him. So take your pick on who that penalty is against. I like the call, though, to go after the kicker in that situation. 2 minutes to go. And a lot of times you'll think that a team is going to play it conservative, get the ball, but at that time you create something at that situation. You're inside the 50, and you get 2 minutes to go inside the 50. So I like the call.
5-yard penalty, 4th and 1.
Inadvertent. That's a break. How about that?
That's a big break. So
not to mention with the fumble on the other end as well.
Could they should decline the penalty and recovered the fumble. Whittier to punt again from now his 25. And he gets a better punt away. Sandagato back at his 15. He'll try to run this one back. Sandagato, there's a flag.
Tell you what, we've seen some pretty good punting so far in the first half. Kogel was down there on the play, and he put the first hit on. Check that. I don't believe that's Hayes. Transpose my numbers there.
See if we can see it.
Take a look at the replay, and he just splits 2 people. I'm not sure. It is Kogel. Must be on the trip.
Well, the penalty's going against AIC, Dave.
There's a 5-yard face mask.
5-yard face mask. Another inadvertent penalty, I guess.
See the face mask the other night in the Kansas State-Kansas game?
Did not.
Oh, man. Poor guy. I mean, he just reached out on a punt return or interception and just grabbed the helmet and yanked him down out of bounds. It's pretty scary, actually.
Nothing inadvertent about it.
That's the 7th penalty for AIC for 60 yards.
Under 2 minutes to play in this first quarter, 17-7. Ithaca Bombers on top, and they've got the ball 1st and 10. That's on the option. Now pitch to Blood. Jason Blood up to the 34.
And Watson got caught a little bit in between. He stepped into the zone and made Betts take the pitch to the outside, but he's got to get help from the cornerback coming up. And there was a pretty big cushion as Martin takes it up for about a 6-yard gain, but Watson did the nice job to force the pitch. As I say, he needs some help coming up from the outside.
2nd and 5 for the Bombers. Blood that time is taken for a loss.
And chances are underneath a pile like that, we've got Jeff Kogel, and there he is getting up.
There's no gain on the play.
David Spears in there as well.
So he made the first big hit.
They call it no gain, so 3rd and 5 from the 34.
And this is San D'Agato territory, or the option.
4 receivers. That's to the air, looking long, San D'Agato. And just too much. Coverage was pretty decent.
I'll tell you, Beers was wide open underneath. He had run there. He was in the slot on the right-hand side. And I think from Best's standpoint, he was looking San D'Agato all the way on the deep pattern. Sooner or later, they're going to figure that out, which they did there. Good job by the defenders on the cornerback. But Beers had run along the hash marks and really had found an open spot about 20 yards down the field. So that generally is one area where inexperience shows itself, where you're picking out your receivers early, you stick with them, and he really never was open. So you got to look around and see where number 2 option is.
Ed Mahoney with another good punt. Platt back at his 15.
I like guys who play hurt. Platt is back.
So much for the bloody nose. Ooh.
Jeez, he might be back again. Man, he was drilled going down.
Well, he gets up quick that time at the 20, but another super punt by Ed Mahoney, who had blasted a 55-yarder. That one, I don't think was quite as long, but it was well into the 40s.
And also, once again, the AIC is going to start inside their 30. 25 seconds. Be surprised if they just don't run out the clock.
And Matt Sons, the quarterback. So we haven't seen Keon Russell in a couple of series. Sons, incomplete. Willie Lockhart had lost his footing over at the sideline.
And, you know, the AIC, as they switch quarterbacks, go with the quarterback platoon. We saw a former AIC quarterback last week at Plymouth State, Joel Perry, was a player, played last year, had some starts, and he transferred. Get a little bit closer to home. Surprising they went to the pass, given the fact that they really have 11 yards gain so far passing with 20 seconds ago. Fumble!
What a bounce. Came right back up into Rasheed Thomas's belly. Boy, you don't see that too much.
I'll tell you what, he must have been a baseball player when he was a kid, played third base, because they teach you when you're playing third base to catch it, bounce it off the chest, and the phrase is stay with it.
Right.
You know, stay right on top of it, don't panic. There he goes, he drops it, he's down, his eyes follow it, bounces right back in. Does that count as a run in a fumble recovery? Is the whole thing a run in the stats? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that young man can run, and as I say, I'm surprised we haven't seen the ball. I mean, he's the kind of guy that you give the ball to 30, 35 times and just let him wear you down.
Yeah.
You know, he had an 81-yard run a week ago against Post. Among his 170 or 80 yards or whatever it was, but you know, he's a threat to go on every time. He's got 85 here in the first half on 9 carries.
13 seconds left in this first half, so AIC thinking we got to get it downfield in a hurry.
But that's not their game. I mean, now you might as well try it, but because you've got 2 plays, you know, you're probably not going to put yourself in danger of a turnover and an extra point. Take a look at it from the backfield. Number 29 is going to get the ball, Rashid Thomas. And there's the loss, but watch his head. He just stays right with it. And again, there's the quickness. He's low to the ground. He gets it and just keeps on. Never broke stride.
No falling on that football.
That's right.
Grab that and run another 5-6 yards.
And with instincts like that, why should you fall on the ball?
Sons to Thomas. Rashid Thomas. And he's up over midfield. 8 seconds left.
What a job by the offensive line. What a huge hole on the right-hand side of that line.
Thomas with about a 13-yard pickup there, close to 100 now in the first half.
Mucinek and on the right-hand side of that line open a gigantic hole. And boy, I tell you what, just look at them running by guys. You know, the secondary just can't keep up, and they've got a nice job of Squires is coming in to help finish off the play. And Hurlman, I believe the free safety was there as well, but I'll tell you what, this guy has speed.
Now with 8 seconds left, I don't think AIC's got another timeout, so they're going to probably have to think sideline.
I think with 8 seconds to go, they're going to have to think end zone. You know what I would do? I would try.
If you get sideline, you could possibly get within field goal range.
Yeah, maybe. You know what I'd do? I would send the wideouts and the tight end deep, or split out with 3 wide receivers, try and take everybody deep and try a screen, because they're going to be playing the prevent. Everybody's going to be pushing back, and you give Thomas a lot of room, maybe on the wide side of the field with all the secondary pushed back, and just let's see what he can do with the open field.
Sons gets out of trouble, going downfield, not intercepted, incomplete.
Great job of playing free safety. Jason Potts, generally the quarterback, but he was in the 2 deep drop, and he just, everything was right in front of him. He left the ball for a second. It looked like the receiver was going to be open, but at the last second, or as it came to Pierce, actually. I knew that number looked familiar. Micah Pierce playing wide receiver there, but you know, Potts just watched it the whole way and just knocked it down.
Potts had the interception earlier in the end zone. And 1 second left, so this, barring a penalty, will be the last play of the first half.
I'm telling you, go to Thomas on the swing pass. Give him some room.
Sons tries the other sideline and knocked down.
Nice job by Aaron Jones. Once again, 2 guys on the ball, did the right thing, knocked it down.
That's the end of the first half here at John Homer Miller Field at American International College. And after one half, the Bombers from Ithaca with the 17-7 lead.
You're on.
Scott Trench-Montagne and Dave Long back at the AIC, where the Ithaca Bombers have the 17-7 lead. And early on, we saw a pretty lethal connection between Jim Betts and Todd Sandegato.
I think they surprised AIC a little bit with how offensive they were coming out. You know, they were able to, here's a pass to the deep to Sandegato, who had just blown by, just run a straight fly pattern out, ran the cornerback, and he stays with the balls. He waited for it and then took the big hit, but he really made the play. As we saw a little later, 2 or 3 more times in the game, he has very good hands and is a very smart receiver, and he has created his openings as well as, you know, just run patterns.
Both offenses kind of got something going, but it wasn't until this interception here by Corey Mickens that AIC was to get on the board.
And Corey just does a nice job hiding in the weeds, and at the last second steps in there and then just takes off, as Daylight definitely stepped out of bounds right there, and he's celebrating. I'll tell you what, you celebrate like that for 20 yards, you better score, because if you make a mistake there, you're in big trouble in my book. Of course, he doesn't have to face me, but I'm sure Art Wilkins would say the same thing.
That tied things up at 7, and things looked good for AIC. They started to move the ball with some momentum, but here's the Bombers striking back a little bit later.
And here comes Betts, just comes down the line, puts it underneath. Nice job by Kogel to step inside, force it back inside, kind of put the box in there, but the linebacker, Watson, I think went for for the running back, and Betts saw the opening, stepped inside, and just took it into the end zone.
That was on 3rd and goal from the 4, and with the extra point, it pushed the lead back up to a touchdown. A little bit later on, we had a 32-yard field goal for the Ithaca Bombers, and that's where we stand, 17-7 here at the half.
And he really did. I think the best thing that Best has done so far is he has really read the defense very well when he's run the football. You know, he started off the game with 2 very long runs at 39 yards in his first 2 carries, and it was really recognizing what the linebacker was doing. The linebacker was going with the Martin as he went to cut off the wide option, and he just stepped into that area and just ran it right up inside the inside seam, and I think got Ithaca off the mark very quickly, which is something they've had trouble with so far. So Best, the switch at quarterback has definitely worked for the Bombers.
Rashid Thomas had 99 yards rushing in that first half, and he looked good, but he was unable to generate any scoring for AIC.
I'm sorry. They got away from it. I mean, he's got 85 yards here in the first half, and prior to the interception, they really had the momentum going with, or maybe it was right after the interception, but they just took it down. They made a 1st and 25 straight on the ground. Russell was in the ball game. He was running wide on some of those counter-type plays, or at least just set up to allow him to run and use his speed. And they had it going well, and then they started to pass the ball again, and they just don't pass the ball all that well. So I look for them to come back out and try and take control on the ground and give it to Thomas, and put Russell back in the game. I think it's his possession to come back in and see what they do.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with some halftime statistics and the second half here from American International College. The Bombers leading the Yellow Jackets 17-7. Action. The Yellow Jackets for AIC with the ball. They've got a 3rd down and 9 here from their 18-yard line. Keon Russell is back in at quarterback. And he rolls out looking downfield. Who's he going to throw to? Now he's looking deep. No flags. It's incomplete up near midfield.
Threw it into double coverage. That almost probably would have been, if it was intercepted, they could have taken him right down. Almost as good as a punt. Fred Marcel, haven't called his number too much so far. He was on the deep pattern.
So now Whittier punting from inside his 5 for AIC, and any way you slice it, even with a tremendous kick, Ithaca should have some pretty decent field position to start their second half.
They're going to go for the return.
Greer cuts back. Greer looking for some daylight. Really nothing there, but nonetheless, Ithaca will start 1st and 10 from their 46.
Once again, close to a clip. At about the 45, Jason Hurlman had the decision, could he get the hat on the inside, the front part of the body? He went for it and was very, very close, really didn't influence the play, and it wasn't a real hard lick. So no call.
Jim Betts had a very fine first half. He made one serious mistake. He threw the interception to Corey Mickens, which was returned for a touchdown. But he's looked pretty good, especially on the option.
Especially in his first start of the year.
Jason Blood got the first down.
Nice job, right off the right-hand side of the line. Working with a new center, number 50, Glenn Caruso. Matt George, the starting center, out of the ball game with a strained muscle in his neck. And there is a big hole. Look at that. Jermaine Harris pushed all the way back about 8 yards off the line of scrimmage by big number 60, George Judwar. So nice job by the guard-center guard tandem on the part of the Bombers.
Betts was 3 for 10 through the air in the first half for over 100 yards. Adari Martin wrapped up.
Don't use a lot of motion on the part of the Ithaca. They don't try and fool you with that, with motion, try and take people out on the defensive side out of position, force a lot of man-to-man coverage. They just, everybody is set, and they just try and come at you with a pretty basic attack. Even the passing game, which has got 3 gains over 30 yards, it pretty much hasn't been too deceptive a pattern. It's just been a fly down the left-hand sideline to Santagato. And just as I say that, they go in motion.
Betts rolling, now looking, throws back across the field, and too much for his big tight end, Chris Comiskey.
And And I'll tell you what, he took a lick right in front of his own best, Kogel, his bench. Kogel, right as he got let go with the ball, Kogel let him have it and took him out of bounds. But he bounced right up. These are situations they like to go to Sandagato. Let's see if he lines up. He's going to line up on the left-hand side, and Beer is going to be in the slot.
Adari Martin is lined up as a receiver on the right side. That's across the middle, too much for Sandagato.
He was open. He just put too much mustard on it. Also went down after he got rid of it, but he actually had time. He saw Sandagato, who ran a little bit of it. They ran a little crossing pattern right at the line of scrimmage, and it was almost a delay as he got right into that area that was vacated by the linebacker, and that's just missed him. It wasn't his best throw of the day.
We've seen Mahoney crank some 50-yard punts. No doubt we'll try and angle it out here as he's punting from his 45.
And they've got a change in return men. Lee is back. Platt is out.
Big bounce, down at the 1.
Gotta be. Shoulder was down there. Great play. Once again, these special teams do the job for the Bombers.
Look at that.
Watch the replay just coming out of the corner of your screen.
Is that Potts?
Potts has had a big game, and he just goes down, but it's all hustle to get there. Lee made the choice to try and let it go as the punt hit it about the 12-yard line. That's kind of no man's. That's the fine line between should I do it or should I not.
Jason's having himself a heck of a game. He had an interception in the end zone. He's had some big hits in the secondary. And that time he downed it at the 1. Keon Russell, the freshman, in a tough spot here. And Rashid Thomas gets just a couple.
I think they have to go to Thomas. First of all, they got to get themselves out of this position. But I'll tell you the other thing is we take a look at the replay, and they're just going to go straight off tackle. He tries to make a delay, but nice job. The penetration by the defensive line. I'm not sure who that was who got inside to make the play. Greshmer was finished up on the play.
On second down from the 3, Ithaca again with a good defense on the run.
And they're sending, looks like they're sending in the kicking unit on third down. Kind of an unorthodox play. Also,
Watkins wants a quick kick. And someone's going to drop back and field it for Ithaca. It'll be Jason Hurlman. And Whittier gets it away quickly.
Going to get a good bounce, too.
Hurlman at his 48. And he just slides down at the 43. So AIC tried to catch Ithaca by surprise there with a quick kick on third down, and Hurlman did a yeoman's effort to get back and field it.
And it probably worked out for him. They got to the 45. They're kicking out of the end zone. I think Hurlman is going to get a little bit of a ribbing when they go through the films on Monday or Tuesday. It looked like a quarterback trying to avoid a big hit right there as he turned the corner. His feet went out and came in with the slide.
Hurlman, the free safety who had to drop back quickly. He was almost still backpedaling as Whittier got the kick away.
He did a nice job, though, on the high bounce, and he fielded it, saved him about 10 or 15 yards, because that would have went out to the other side of the 50-yard line.
Jason Blood crashes ahead to the 40.
Not much there. Blood just a big guy, and look at he had the leverage.
Good leg push.
Had the defender on his back. He had the legs underneath. He just kept pushing, picked up a couple of extra yards.
2nd and 6.
This is a big series for AIC. They've got to come up with a stop here. They can't fall too far behind because they don't have the passing game to make up, points in a hurry.
Jason Blood gets the call again, and he picks up about 3.
As I started to say, they need to get themselves outside of the shadow of the goalpost. And a stop here, maybe the kick goes into the end zone. Actually, Ithaca might be in 4th down territory, especially with it in this situation. Well, if I'm Ithaca, we're at the 4th down situation, I'd try to pooch it inside the 10 again, keep him pinned.
3rd and 2 here. They've got a real opportunity for a first down and keep this drive alive. Adari Martin, he's got the first down.
Nice cut by Martin. That was going to be a slant off the tackle, and he felt the pressure on the outside and just took the cut. Watch the replay. Watch him. There's the tap. The wide receiver lets Best know he's there. Looks like he's going a little bit wide, and then boom, he sees the opening and just takes it up, puts his head down, and makes what he can make.
Jermaine Harris.
Little extracurricular activities at the end.
The Bombers moving again. They've got 1st and 10 now from the 32. That's rolling. Big defensive stop. He tried to pitch it out of bounds, and they call it an incomplete forward pass.
I think that only works in the movies. That pass, that was good thing that went out of bounds.
Jake Bursey, I think you'll see, has him wrapped up.
Nice job. I mean, the impulse again is, all right, where's my guy? There's blood trailing the play. And he tries to get rid of it. But the problem is he was throwing it without a good handle on it. You know, it wasn't like he was palming it and could just give it a direct shovel. He had to kind of reach for it to get it out there. So not an ill-advised pitch, let's say.
2nd down and 10. Betts pumps once, now throws. Sandagato turns over his shoulder. Incomplete.
Yeah, went on the other side. Twyman Calhoun ran the fly right down the middle along the hash marks, trying to draw some of that zone defense into him and get Sandagato on one-on-one coverage. But Best threw it over the far shoulder. Had pretty good protection on it.
9:19 left in this 3rd quarter, and a 17-7 lead for the Bombers. They've got 3rd and 10.
This is where they like to go up the left side along the sideline to Sandagato. 3rd and long.
Betts has the time. Tipped incomplete. Good coverage that time on Sandagato.
Play took a little too long to develop. Sandagato looked like he was going to do the fly and then just hooked in around the 20-yard line.
I think Betts has got to start throwing to some other receivers.
Yeah, it's pretty, but he was open. If you can see him, he's going to come right in the middle of our screen. There's the rollout, but Sandagato kind of shows himself as the ball comes right at you. A nice job by Watson to get a hand on the ball, and equally good job by our end zone camera.
Here is a 49-yard field goal attempt for Mike DeMay.
Tom Dempsey couldn't make this one.
Nothing there.
Kind of looked like Matt Barr's kick, except Matt was about 20 yards closer the other day. Knuckleball comes up short, and nice job by AIC to stall the drive and put themselves in, for the first time, halfway decent field position here in the 2nd half.
A punt there, a controlled punt there, might have pinned him deeper, but now AIC in decent position up at the 32.
We haven't seen him kick. Obviously didn't hit it very well there, but this is a field position game, and I'm a big believer in field position. I think I would have liked to seen the punt there. Easy to say it after the fact, but
half the offensive line there ahead of the snap.
AIC continues to hurt itself.
Keon Russell remains at quarterback, the freshman, and a legal motion called against AIC. At some point, Art Wilkins has to. Well, you would think he would have to make up his mind and go with Sans or Russell, but now you're 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. You almost want to make a decision for consistency's sake.
Well, they've been most effective running the ball so far. The one real good drive, actually 2 good drives that they had. Both times Russell was on the field and they were giving the ball to Thomas.
Russell rolling, he's got room. Keon Russell, lots of daylight, and he fumbled.
Great tackle.
Ithaca's got the ball at midfield.
What a tackle. I'm not sure who it was, but it was the strip. I mean, he just took an overhand chop right at the ball. Russell does a nice job. He sees he's got lots of room, and he comes the defender. It looks like, there it is, number 28 on the great play with the slap, Jason Nichols. Just a chop on the ball. Technique, as they say. Coaching staff did a nice job there to get Jason to do that, and Jason executed. Too bad. It was a great job by Russell to get open. I'm telling you, he's dangerous. Really.
He's certainly got the speed, doesn't he?
Looks like an Oklahoma quarterback from the Wishbone days. Jamal Holloway.
Ithaca with 1st and 10 from the 50. Adari Martin gets a couple.
You know, those are the things that kill you as a coach, turnovers. Last week, as we said, CW Post against AIC, almost 500 yards in total offense, and they lost by 20 points because after scoring the first 2 scores of the game, because they had 7 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 4 fumbles lost, and 6 sacks. They kill you.
That's on 2nd and 8. Complete. Sandagato. First down inside the 30.
He didn't listen to you, Scott, about going to a different guy. Sandagato, the not burning speed, looks like more of a control receiver, but he knows really what to do.
Well, he gets to the ball and he gets open.
I like the poise here. He really had a lot of time, and he took the time, waited for it to develop, even though the black shirts were kind of inching toward him. Nice job on the offensive line to give him that time. Jermaine Harris gets back to make the hit.
There's Todd.
Hudson, New York.
1st and 10 from the 29.
What a beautiful place the Hudson River Valley is.
Fumble! AIC's got the ball.
Looks like Harris, number 44, Jermaine Harris, guy who plays offense last year, knows what to do when the ball's on the ground.
I think Betts just lost it.
Yeah, I think it's a swipe. Kogel hits him right in the arm, and he loses it. He didn't really have it wrapped up.
And the score 17-7. We'll take a break. And we're back here in the 3rd quarter. Let's take a look at the replay. Rashid Thomas picked up a first down on the first play.
Just go to his speed, and the ball is on the near side of the field, but he just outruns people. Nice cut there, and then he just uses the quickness to take it up over the 50.
Now on the next play, AIC committed a holding penalty, so it'll drop him back all the way to the 30.
Once again, another penalty that hurts them. Continued to be a pattern coming at the wrong time.
Russell remains at quarterback. Rolling out, looking downfield. Now he just tucks it in.
That was a freshman mistake. When you're in a situation like that, just throw it away.
Throw it to the sideline.
Throw it to the sidelines, out of bounds. Don't let anybody intercept it, because he had enough time to do that. There were receivers on the sideline. Just throw it up there to the guy in the top row.
Now it was 1st and 20. Now it's a 2nd and about 30.
A lot.
They've got to get up to the 47-yard line of Ithaca, and they're back at their 27. Rashid Thomas, lots of room. Rashid, here he goes. He's at the 40. Rashid Thomas, inside the 10.
I tell you what kind of speed on the part of Devin Lutz. Lutz, he caught Thomas from behind. Holy cow. But of course, that was 60 yards down the field after Thomas had cut through.
And both players are hurt.
And this is just pure, flat-out speed and moves. A couple of guys had a shot at him, and then Lutz comes from behind. Look at this. I didn't think he had that kind of speed. I think Thomas maybe got a little bit tired, but Thomas is now down on the field. They are talking to him. He went down hard.
Devin Lutz and Rashid Thomas both stayed on the turf.
I think they're just tired.
Yeah.
I know I would be. Although Thomas looks like he was tired. Lutz looks a little bit more shaken up, but I'll tell you what, 2 great plays, I think. It's hard to see that there's a great play on the defense in a 60-yard run, but a lot of that was once he had the opening, Thomas really just turned it on, but Lutz never gave up. I gave up, I know that. I wouldn't have gone after him, but I'll tell you what a job to forestall a touchdown. They hold him off, but hold him to 3 here. That's a big, big play.
1st and goal from the 6. AIC keeps it on the ground.
It's Deion Sanders tries to take it in.
That's Jermaine Harris.
That's what I meant.
Deion Sanders.
No, offensive, defensive player.
I got you.
Jermaine Harris, as we mentioned, was the Offensive Player of the Year last year for AIC.
This is no strange position for him. And
okay,
Rashid Thomas is getting some medical attention on the sideline. It looked like he got maybe the wind knocked out of him and maybe a bloody nose to go with it.
Yeah, they're kind of...
Russell rolling. He's in trouble. Incomplete. Dangerous pass from Keon Russell.
Yeah, there's the freshman. I mean, little mistake there, not a lot of room. Once again, you got to just see if you can get it out of there. Here's the replay. Coming from the back side of your screen comes the defensive pressure. Pretty good protection, but there he got the last second. He throws it. The white shirt is right in front. I'm not sure who that is he threw the ball to. Looked like Jerry Watkins in the game for the first time. And this is a good timeout. AIC's taking a timeout, but you got it down in this position on third down. You got to make sure you get it right here.
3rd and goal from just inside the 5 for AIC.
Also buying a little time. Maybe you can get Thomas back in the game. Thomas, I started this day, has got 166 yards on 14 carries. And remember what I said, now I'm on the line, what I said in the opening, that when Thomas runs well, gets over 170 yards, AIC wins.
Well, he got 67 on that last big gainer, and he had 98 in the first half. Rashid Thomas rushed 11 times for 98 yards. That's almost 9 yards a carry.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about some of the interesting stats. Russell had, in rushing, 4 carries for 23 yards. His long was 15. But only 3 catches for 15 yards in the air for AIC, and that was one of their problems.
They called that timeout, I think, to get Rashid Thomas in on this critical 3rd and goal from the 4.
I said it was a good call.
I formation, man in motion. Russell to throw. Touchdown! Touchdown to Fred Marcel.
Only seen Fred in on 2 plays. Certainly made his mark felt there, and Russell does a nice job watching on the rollout. He lets it develop. Marcel comes out of the right-hand side of your screen, and he just sees them underneath the coverage, and the defender just can't get there, Jason Potts. Although it almost drove him out of bounds. I think Marcel got to put that head down, but he knew he was going to get in.
5-yard touchdown pass, Russell, and the extra point is blocked.
They can run it.
And it's covered up by AIC.
I like that play. You can run it back. You get 2 or 1 if you...
Love that play.
You get 2 if he picks it up and runs it in.
Tom Lopez covered up for AIC. And it's a 4-point difference. 17-13 Ithaca. That's a big block on that extra point.
Takes the, now they need a touchdown. Here's another angle. Watch Russell on the rollout. He's got kind of a quick pass. Sets up a little bit quicker than I thought he did, but delivered a nice pass, as I say, down underneath. That's where AIC likes to throw the ball, in the flats, in the short areas. Marcel, with the nice concentration on the catch, takes it in.
5-yard touchdown pass. Russell to Marcel. And now Brian McManus to kick away from his 35.
Kind of surprised they didn't go to Thomas. Maybe he was still hurt and they just wanted the decoy.
He was the decoy. There you see Keon Russell getting a little ice on the hip. Did he get the old hip pointer?
Probably caught a good one there.
McManus with a high and deep kick. Fielded by Beer at his 10. John Beer up over the 30. Fine run back for John Beer.
Paul Mary, one of the guys in on the tackle, number 8.
Wynwood, Pennsylvania.
So that was a big score for AIC, even more so than just the fact that it got them 6 points on the board. You know, number 1, they reestablished their running game, and number 2, they get themselves close to the striking position, where now a touchdown doesn't put them, 17 points behind where they've got a pass, which they don't do well. Now they can continue with their game plan. They can continue to run, and that score means a lot more than just the 6 points they got.
Under 5 minutes to play in this third quarter from AIC. And the 17-13 lead for the Ithaca Bombers. Ithaca won Division III national championships in 1979, 1988, and 1991 under Jim Butterfield.
Mike Welsh, who's an assistant for 11 years under Jim Butterfield. He's got the field named after him at Ithaca. Jim Butterfield Field.
Jason Blood, the fullback. And it's going to be about a 3rd and 5 for Ithaca.
Adari Martin unofficially has 56 yards on 20 carries. Didn't seem like he has 20 carries, but he does.
Call it a 3rd and 3 from the 39.
This is Martin's territory.
Here in motion.
Watch the left tackle.
Adari Martin with the first down. He's up over the 45.
That's bread and butter. That's where they like to go. They have had their most success running to the left side of the field. Either it's off-tackle plays coming out of the backfield, and here it is. And the defenders do a nice job. They turn it inside, but then Martin finds the hole, and it's Morgan Lee, who one of the guys making the tackle. Elliot Best, the other.
Adari Martin is the local hero for the Bombers out of Ithaca. Played at Bridgeton Academy. That's the throw. He's got some time. No! Knocked loose. Is it incomplete? I think he had the forward motion. Referees are signaling incomplete.
And Kogo just got a good 2 long steps into him, and boy, he delivered the blow. He comes out of the top of your screen, and he just beats the tackle, and boom, right as Best was ready to get rid of it. And now I think there's a penalty on the flag.
There was a penalty. Ineligible, what was it called?
Ineligible receiver downfield, I believe. Now, it can't be. They pick up a first down. Must be. I don't know. It's an automatic first down. No, it's not. It's second down. I'm stumped. Can't be a late hit. That was a good hit by Kogo.
Yeah, couldn't have been a roughing the passer. Well, in any event, it's a 2nd down and 10. And that's rolling out. Dumps it off to Martin. Got about 5.
Oh, it was no penalty. That's what it was.
Oh, that's what it was.
They were waving off the penalty.
The flag
I thought he was waving to us here in the booth, but no, he wasn't. It was just an incomplete pass, and I guess an inadvertent flag.
We've got a timeout on the field as a player is injured, so let's take a break with 3:13 left in this 3rd quarter, and there you see the score, 4-point lead for the Bombers. Ithaca Bombers facing a 3rd and 6 from midfield as they try to keep this drive alive. They've got the 4-point lead. That's to throw in the pocket. He's going down.
Good job in the defensive secondary. They were in the 2 deep zone, and they just denied everybody, and they went on the fly pattern. As we go back, Betts got the shot there, but really the work is in the secondary. They just blanket the receivers. There's only 2 people deep, double coverage in both spots, and after a while, you just can't hold them out that long, and they do a nice job. And geez, guess who's on the bottom of that pile? Kogel.
Mahoney punting from his 35. He's boomed several today. Another good high kick. Micah Pierce with the fair catch at his 10.
They do a great job. They have done a great job today in particular on the special teams. Once again, great punt. 7 people standing in front of Pierce that time. Where's he going to go? No returns. The net's about, what was that, about a 45-yard kick? Net 45.
Ed Mahoney out of North Tonawanda.
Good town for a punter.
So now AIC again in a bit of a hole. They've seen this situation before, deep in their own territory.
Give it to Thomas. Go right. They're right.
Thomas, the lone setback, gets it from Keon Russell. Here he goes. Rashid Thomas up over the 20.
I'm telling you, they have not shown an ability to stop Thomas. I would give it to him on every play.
He's looking for a 200-yard game soon.
Look at the replay here. Nothing fancy. Give him the ball. I'll go outside. I'll go inside. There's a beautiful block that just gives, you don't need to get the guy down on the ground. He comes down. Not sure who made the block.
Scott Grismer was the defender who was cut down. That was good for a first down, so 1st and 10 now from the 21. Fake. Russell's in trouble. Dumps it away. And we get a flag.
And there's a couple of the right-hand side of the line. For AIC was downfield. Ravosa and Berardi were two guys. Check that. It was Friedel. We're down on the right-hand side. I'm not sure what they were doing, unless that was a design run, because here comes the play. It looks like he's going left the whole way, and those guys on the right-hand side of, as you look at the screen, are downfield, but it's a scary throw. When you're in a situation like that, you can't get anything on it.
Throwing off your back foot, you're throwing across the field. If you've got a cornerback who's sneaking up, that's 6 points. Going the other way.
And I'll tell you, if it's high enough, you can come from about the 50 to get that one. But that's the inexperience factor in Russell as a freshman. We've seen that several times where he has not, he has yet to master when to throw it and when not to throw it, or what to do with it when you've got some trouble.
It's almost a trade-off having him in there, because he's obviously very skilled, but he's also very young.
But they've moved the ball most effectively when he's in here. He is dangerous as a runner.
1st and 15. Russell rolling, throwing, downfield, and incomplete.
That was another one across his body. It kind of floated.
Likes to throw on the run. That time he was looking for Joe Gaddy, but the coverage was pretty solid.
I think for him to be able to throw that ball in that position, he's really got to almost look run first. He's so dangerous there. If you can bring up some of that, there are 3 white shirts in that area. Until they know that he's going to run, they're just going to lay back, because he really doesn't drill the ball in there. They can just kind of let him play around back there. He's got to show an ability to just put it down and make him pay for dropping back into that zone.
2nd and 15 from the 17. Russell, quarterback draw. And he got a good chunk there as he's up over the 25.
You've got to keep the linebackers home if you can do that. That was quarterback draw all the way. I mean, I don't think there's anything more exciting than when you have a quarterback who can really run. I mean, it's almost like, there he is. I mean, there's a lot of room. He just went back in the 2-step drop. The offensive line kind of pushed everybody to the outside, parted the seas, and then he just took it up the middle.
Russell picked up 8 yards, so 3rd and 7.
Thomas is not running 4 plays.
Russell to throw. He's in trouble. Brian Ramaki, there he is, big number 54. 6'2", 233 out of Syracuse. And Whittier to punt back by his 5. He has punted in this situation already.
Almost been the most exciting element in the game. The punting play from the special teams and the punters has been so good.
That's a great punt. Sandagato at his 40, good cut up field. And he's at midfield. That's where Ithaca will start again with great field position. And, Ithaca's had great field position all 3rd quarter. They've got to start capitalizing.
Well, but that's, has to do a lot to do with the way the special teams are making plays. On the exchange, they seem to be picking up 10 yards. But you're right, they do have to capitalize on it. I mean, we've seen some of the problems that they have not been able to. We haven't seen the option in a while, which is the thing that really set everything up in the first half. And AIC, they scored the touchdown on it, but AIC did a little bit better job on it in the 2nd period. But we've yet to see it here in the 3rd period, and that really has been what the offense revolved around early on when they picked up the 17 points.
Jason Blood. He is a tough runner.
Blood was the guy who was down. We went to the last break, but he's back. Prior to that play, he had 23 yards of the 38 that had been gained by the Bombers in this half, so they're going to him.
And let's take a break with the Bombers leading 17-13. This is the ECAC Game of the Week on Sports Channel. 15 minutes to play here at John Homer Miller Field at American International College, and we got a ball game in our hands.
Yes, we do. But closest we've gone going into the 4th quarter here in the ECAC Game of the Week.
2nd down and 7 for the Ithaca Bombers. Betts on the option, pitch to Blood. And Blood rumbles up near the 40. He'll be close to the 1st down. Let's see where they pushed him out.
And that time they did a nice job. Mike Duggan is sophomore defensive end, did a nice job of forcing Best to pitch the ball out, but then he pitched it to Blood, who had the speed to get around the corner.
Keon Russell taking a breather on the sideline.
Talking it over with Tom Lopez. Comes the quick hitter. Let go on a Blood on these.
3rd and 1. Beer in motion. Taps his quarterback. Adari Martin is taken for a loss. Kogel led the charge.
He's got the penetration on the left defensive end. Comes out of the right-hand side of your screen. He just beats his man and is in the backfield. Martin nowhere to go when he gets the big hit. Boom, he's laying there waiting for him. And he just takes him down, and the other fellas join in the pack. But once again, nice quickness, lateral quickness to get around the defensive end to be able to there to hold it. There's a good shot of Jeff.
Mahoney to punt. Micah Pierce and Morgan Lee back to return. Another great high rainmaker of a punt.
Coming back.
And it bounces inside the 5. It's down at the 1.
That one he was leaning over and caught it.
That's twice in this game that Mahoney has been able to down a punt or have his punt down at the 1.
I think we ought to edit. I think we ought to edit there. It's a nice catch, kind of like, looks like he's trying to stay in bounds. And awful nice job. But, you know, let's edit these out and put the special teams plays for Ithaca together, and we'll sell it as a video, because this is how special teams should be played. And really, a lot of it has to do with hustle. I mean, they just had people who wanted to get down there and cover that play.
And a lot of it also has to do with Mahoney's hang time.
Yep. All right,
Keon Russell in a hole here.
Go to the bread and butter. Just give it to Thomas.
And Rashid picks up a couple, gets them out of immediate danger, but they're still pretty close and packed in down there.
You know, I know what might get attention. I don't know if he can throw the ball, but, you know, a quarterback, not in this particular situation, but a quarterback option with the fear that Thomas puts in people's minds, maybe a crossing pattern from the weak side. It looks like a blocker. You know, I got to think when he gets the ball, I know if I'm on defense, I'm thinking of stopping that guy. Forget about the pass.
1 yard gain, 2nd and 9 from the 2. And Thomas blasts his way up close to the 5.
No, it's interesting. They have the most success of shutting him down when they've been inside the 10-yard line. For some reason, they must be playing things a little bit tighter. They're running things inside of the tackles as opposed to giving him the option where he's got some room to pick and choose what he wants to do. But Ithaca has done their best job on those plays when he's in there. He really has very little room to run.
3rd and 7. Ball is on the 4. Gaddy is in motion. Russell rolling. He's throwing from his end zone. Complete. Big reception there for the first down.
Big hit with Potts. Just drilled him right in the midsection. This is a little bit, called a little scary. They have not had as much success in situations like that, but he picks out the receiver and does the nice job, good job of holding on to the football, because that was not a routine run-of-the-mill hit. That was a rude awakening, but they pick up the first down. Nice job by Russell to deliver the ball.
9-yard pickup for Gaddy and the first down. So AIC has the breathing room they need now. They've got the 1st and 10 from their 13.
Play selection will be able to open up a little bit. They'll be able to, as I say, give the ball to Thomas on those plays that go a little bit wider and a little bit deeper in the backfield. Let him pick his spots. He's been deadly on those so far as he gets close to 200 yards.
In the 3rd quarter, we talked about Ithaca starting with good field position. The Bombers started their drives at the 46, their 45, at the 50, at their 32, and at their 48. And they scored no points in that 3rd quarter, despite all that great field position.
And that's back to the kind of troubles they've been having.
Rashid Thomas.
Once again, nice job of containment on Thomas. Really didn't have, they ran to the short side of the field. Might be time for one of those bootlegs for Russell. Influence everybody to one side and give them like the naked wide side of the field. In this case, it would be their left side of the field. But everybody now is keying on Thomas.
2nd and 8. Thomas gets the pitch. He's short of the first down, but he's up near the 18. He had to get to the 23.
Yeah, I think they're going to spot it at about the 18. I think that puts him right at about 200 yards here for the game. Take a look at the replay. Not much room for him. The guard pulls out, trying to help, but a lot of white shirts right there. And they just drag him down. Jeff Green in at a nickelback spot. Actually playing the inside linebacker now.
3rd and 5 for the Yellow Jackets. Russell rolling. Under pressure. Throwing downfield, and that time he just threw it out of bounds. And a flag.
I think there might be a late hit on that play, but that was the good move by Russell. You know, maybe he's learned from his mistakes. He had I think it was Gaddy pinned on the sideline, nowhere to go, so he just heaved it out of bounds.
And I think Eric Squires was the Ithaca bomber who roughed up the passer.
And now AIC gets the break. They have hurt themselves with some inopportune penalties, or primarily penalties, inopportune, but this time they get the break, pick up the first down, keep going downfield. It's tough when you're, when you're playing upfield or uphill like they have been here in the second half. As you said when you mentioned where the drives had started, 46, 45, 50, 32, and 48. And Ithaca hasn't scored, which belies maybe back to some of the offensive problems they have. But on the other side, it means that with the punting and the special team games they had, that consistently when they go out,
Russell gets crushed after the option pitch to Thomas. Thomas picks up about 6, but Russell paid the price on that option.
Yeah, Squires on the big hit. But I tell you what, he waits for the last minute and gets it at the right time. He's looking what to do. Here comes Squires, boom, and he gets it to Thomas at the last minute. That takes the linebacker out of the play and lets Thomas, as he spins back in, another one of those, go back to the instant replay and that cliche of the day, can't teach that kind of spinning for an extra yard.
Ithaca has been penalized now 5 times for 53 yards.
This guy Russell's a player. I just, you're going to have to live with some mistakes when a freshman's playing, especially at quarterback. But the upside, I believe, in a team that likes to run the football like AIC is very high.
Can you imagine this guy as a junior or senior?
Right, or next year when he's got Thomas with him.
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit more seasoning under his belt. But he is a definite threat with his speed to go take off on a 20-yard run, 30-yard run, maybe even go for the score out of the backfield. And when you have 2 people in the backfield like that, it's hard to defense the option.
Keon Russell, 5'11", 185-pound freshman out of Brooklyn, New York. And a timeout on the field for AIC.
In earlier action,
and Thomas,
was AIC 4,
say, closing in on his career high, 206 yards. Career high is 246, which he got in the opening game of the season. He won the gold helmet, Division II gold helmet here in New England.
.10:22 left in this 4th quarter.
Syracuse 31, Pittsburgh 7, and Boston College 30, Notre Dame 11. That's the final.
Just heard some stunning news here at AIC as BC beat Notre Dame 30-11. Russell on 2nd down, and he's taken for a loss, but he held on to the ball.
I don't think that's going to make Lou very happy.
Lou was right. His team really was underdogs coming in, right? We should have believed him when he was bad-mouthing his team. Wow. Dan Henning with the biggest victory of his career on a collegiate level. Here's Russell in all kinds of trouble.
Nice job by Squires to shut off the outside option. And there is the pursuit. That is how to play the option. Someone shuts off the outside, force the quarterback inside, and the help comes from the backside.
3rd and 5 for the Yellow Jackets. They'd like to keep this drive going with time ticking away. Russell gets away.
Got running room, too. Great play.
Incomplete.
Todd Nestor on the job right at the last second got his hand in there, because that looked like Lopez had it and was going to go out of bounds for the first down. Look at this job of getting away from the pressure on the blitz. Just used his lateral ability to get away from Ramaki, and then throws kind of a dying quail in there. Looked like it was going to be caught, though.
Lopez just couldn't hang on. Whittier punting. Decent end-over-end kick. Beer at his 20. John Beer with some room. Beer at the 40. John Beer at midfield. John Beer at the 30. It's a foot race now. Can Lopez catch him? Touchdown! No! Loose football.
No, at best.
I thought he was in.
He was in, and then the ball went out of bounds, I believe, after he went in and got knocked down.
What is the call, Mr. Referee?
I've got my hands up here. It looked like he's going to be short of the goal line.
What is the call?
I don't know. The defensive team for AIC is coming in. Here comes the replay. Watch the right-hand side of your screen. The C's just part. He's got to get by that first wave, and he does. And he takes it up the sideline, and there he just takes the cutback. He's running against the grain from everybody, and it becomes a foot race, and he has enough to get it in.
The referees are saying AIC football on the fumble. I thought he was in for a touchdown.
Watch as he goes down. We're looking on the field, seeing what's happening. Does he have the ball as he goes? He loses it on the way in.
That's a touchdown.
No way.
That is a touchdown, David.
We have a disagreement here in the booth. Watch.
David, his
this.
body hits the ground.
But he loses
the
ball.
play.
He loses the ball right there before he hits the ground.
The ball is in his.
The ball is
in his hands. No, David. That's an AIC hand that you saw. He didn't lose the football until he hit the ground.
So much for the instant replay deciding the touchdown or not. There's a fist fight going on in the booth over if that was a touchdown or not. It looked to me like he lost the ball. The question was, did he get his hands over the goal line before he lost it?
What really matters is that AIC has the football on the alleged fumble.
But it also, once again, special teams in the part of the Bombers put AIC in a hole, even if they don't get the touchdown, which of course is a tremendous disappointment. You can look at it two ways. You can look at it, number one, you didn't get the touchdown, which of course is disappointment, but you've got AIC pinned back once again, and you're in control of field position. So
I don't know if we can see this again or not.
Ball is placed at the 1-yard line of the Yellow Jackets.
What the Ithaca bench does not like the call, that's for sure. Everybody is as far down along that bench as they can get. That ball could not.
Here's the end of the play again. Now watch the football, David. The football is in his chest as he hits the ground. The football is still with him.
He loses the ball on the way around. It was a good call.
All right.
Yes.
Oh.
Here it comes again.
Okay, he lost it there.
It's
okay,
gone
he lost
now.
it.
It's on the way out. It's been ripped out.
All right, I stand corrected, big guy. How could I doubt you?
What a big man you are, I'll say it.
Teach me a lesson, never doubt you.
You know, we have been talking about what a great job the special teams and the hustle on the part of Ithaca. But Jay Bursey, number 99, did not give up on the 1-inch line and ripped it out of his hands. What a big play by him.
Now 1st and 10 from the 1.
Actually,
Russell's in trouble.
Oh, what a scary pass. Actually, it's 2nd and 10. We were all fighting about it down here over the watching the replay. They ran Thomas into the line. And it's 3rd down.
Yeah, they're still in a precarious situation.
Right, that's what I mean. You can't, all right, you got to forget about that when something like that happened, good, bad, or indifferent, and it turns out looks like it was a very good call and almost an impossible call to make. I mean, that's like split-second judgment. What a great job. That may be the play of the day.
I even had it wrong on the replay the first time.
How about 9 times?
Hope you're not going to make me walk home. Here's Thomas. Rashid Thomas. 1st down and more. Well, now AIC has the momentum, and they're out of danger.
That guy was walking the yellow brick road on that play. He was going right, he was going left, he was going right. And he just shows how dangerous he is. Every time he gets the ball, you think he's got a chance to go. Nice job on the right side of the line to open that hole. Goes across the gray and then back. Finally, they kind of wrap him up.
First and 10 from the 19. Rashid Thomas. Not much there.
They have done, believe it or not, they have done a better job here in the second half, or at least they've had more success containing him. He's had a number of pretty long runs. I think he's getting a little bit tired now as he looks to be coming out of the ball game. But they've also had a lot of stops around the line of scrimmage for a yard or two gain.
Now, you'd be tired too if you rushed for 220, 230 yards, as he's got to be close to now.
Hey, I'd be tired if I rushed for 220 yards on one play, let alone if I had to do it on 30 plays. But I started to say the thing that Ithaca has to look at, even though they fumbled, and of course it's a momentum stopper, it's very difficult to come back from something like that. You got to wipe that off your mind and say, look, now we've got him in this hole, keep him in this hole, and we're still in pretty good position even though we fumbled the ball. So what you really don't want to do is let him march down the field. Then I'll tell you, then that is a huge, not only do you lose the lead, but it's a huge momentum change. And here it is, not 30 yards, 30 carries for Thomas, 22 for 224 yards, 126 here in the second half.
10 yards a carry isn't too bad.
12 yards in the second half. So much for that success I was talking about, stopping them with 1 or 2 yard runs.
2nd and 9 here for the Yellow Jackets. 7:15 to play in this game. They trail by 4. Reverse. And that play disintegrated very quickly. Very
slow developing play. The looked like Ithaca knew what was going on. Number 73, Kevin Kenzie, on the play. He had shut that down and was waiting for the handoff before it came. He knew what was going on. Good job of reading the play.
Now 3rd and very long. Call it 17.
Thomas remains out. Looks like he's got some cramps, so stretching out his leg on the sideline.
Russell to throw. Gets out of trouble. Complete to Gaddy. And he should have the first down if they give him forward progress.
I was going to say, get down. You're fighting here and you're trying to get out. You've got the first down. You got to take it. And that was a big league throw on the part of Russell.
We got an Ithaca player down on the field.
Moving around now. Looked like he got a stinger. The way he's moving, looks like it's a loss of breath. And how about that? Threw it over the top of the up man and underneath the low man and delivered it right on the numbers.
So an official timeout on the field as they attend to the Ithaca bomber who is on the turf.
That was the first down that AIC has converted through the air today. But you know who else he reminds me of? I mentioned he reminded me of Darian Hagan. Of Jamal Holloway when he played for Oklahoma, but he looks like the quarterbacks that Colorado is getting now, guys who are the good guys who can really run and every once in a while hurt you with a pass, as Michigan found out from Cordell.
And I don't know why Brian Ramaki was on the ground that time. He didn't get hit. He was the one who was chasing Keon Russell.
Yeah, just kind of had a passing hit.
Maybe he twisted something, or it looks to be okay as he trots to the sideline. So AIC with 1st and 10 from their 31.
That's a big first down, I think. Now they're up to the 30. They've turned a touchdown now into a 30-yard gain out of the shadow of their goal line, and they have the momentum going their way.
Talk about a swing. Russell with time, flushed out now, and he ducks it in, takes a hard hit at the 35.
From about 3 different people. Jason Nichols, one of the guys in on that hit. Scott Conley as well.
Well, he's a tough kid. He was in the grasp of one player, and he took a hit from another.
It's a straight pass. I'll tell you what, though, there's Thomas. He was the up man. They faked the draw. I like setting this guy up on quarterback draws as well and just let him. There's Conley coming in from behind, wraps him up, and he takes the second hit by Nichols. But as I say, I think he's a really dangerous runner.
2nd and 5. Russell trying to dump it off. Incomplete. Oh, mercy.
A little tough to catch. Nice job. There was a white shirt right in his face.
Willie Lockhart had a touchdown if he caught that.
He had to throw it underneath, though. I don't know if we have a replay or not, but it comes out blind. I don't think he really sees it. Let's see who it is. It's Nichols on the blitz. See, it comes underneath. I'm not sure if he saw it, and then it was a little bit low. Certainly one of those things he could have caught, probably should have caught, but there was a little bit more difficult than...
And if he did, he would have had 6 points.
Unless he got hit. We've had two touchdown stop runs on the half-inch yard line. That's been the theme
Someone
today.
might have caught him. Gaddy has the completion, but he does not have the first down.
Yeah, I'm not see the patterns in those, not running patterns in that case. If you look at it, here's the replay. Nobody's going for the first down stick. Everybody's going underneath. So that's a pattern that's, I guess, called from the bench or whatever the play is. It's designed, but there's no room to run there. You know, that's almost every time they've tried to go for first down with the pass on 3rd down, it's been to the underneath stuff. The one time they went deep, or they had an opportunity the last time when they went for the pass to Gaddy, they went past the flags, got the first down.
The Bombers with a good pass rush, they have forced Russell to throw quickly so that he couldn't really look downfield, and he had to go to Gaddy. I think Ithaca is doing a good job getting some kind of rush on Russell. He's been throwing on the move.
Yeah, they are. There's no question about that. But if you look at the patterns, everybody had come in underneath where the first down marker is, and that makes it tough. Then you got to catch and run in those situations.
The only deep guy on that play was Marcel, who was about at the 50-yard line. But Russell had no time to get it to him. And so a punting situation for AIC on 4th down and 5. There's 4:53 to play.
I'll tell you, Whittier's not that deep, though. If you look at him, he's only about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He's almost parallel with his up man.
Well, now he's dropping back a little bit.
Of course, we should mention with that BC Notre Dame score that this game is on tape delay, played on Saturday, airing on Sunday.
Next week, we're back up at Plymouth State.
Plymouth State, Maine Maritime. Rob Marchitello, one of the best backs in New England, will be there.
Boy, Whittier got that punt away, and Sandagato calls the fair catch at the 25. Looked to me like Ithaca had a shot at blocking that punt, but the rusher held up.
Straight through his arms, I think.
That was Keith Heinzelman, the senior, number 38 in white, who looked like he had plenty of time to block that punt, but it's like he stopped.
40-yard punt for Jeff Whittier.
Well, maybe he didn't think he could get there, and if he went through, if he just missed
didn't
it,
want to rough the kicker.
That's a choice when you're coming straight at a guy. You've got to pull. You've got to make that split-second decision.
Ithaca with 1st and 10 from the 25.
AIC needs to stop here.
And they got to get the ball back too quickly because there's only 4:50 left.
They've done a better job here in the second half. I know we were talking before that we haven't seen the option very often, but they have done a nice job of taking that option away from Best, who turned it up several times in the first period for some good gains. And there is the address and phone number to either call or send your request for if you're interested in getting a tape of today's game.
Pay attention that to Eagle Eyes, Dave Long.
So the folks at Creative Video will send it right out.
AIC with real good run defense, stacking it up.
Make a nice Christmas present. The scary thought that we're getting relatively close to beginning to think. It's the first time I've ever even thought of a Christmas present before about December 10th in my life.
That's because you're pitching your product now.
And of course, back to that BC game for a second. Allison Crotty, who's the ECAC intern, BC alum, is probably up there enjoying some of the festivities as we speak. Gave her the day off today.
Very big of you.
It wasn't me who gave it to her.
No.
Her able cohort, Scott Kavanaugh, doing the job today, doing an outstanding job on
Scott
stats
tells
board.
us, by the way, that he gave up tickets to that game. Is that right, Scott? Scott gave up 2 tickets to that game. Good call, Scott.
So much. Should have told me. I would have taken him. He could have done the color.
Scott, you could have done color.
I think we're going to have a wild finish here, though.
Yeah, this is certainly an entertaining game. It's 17-14. Bombers led 17-7 at the half.
Of course, the only reason I would have done that, consider taking those tickets, because I could have gotten a tape from Creative Video.
That's right.
Christmas present.
We could have stuffed your stocking with it. 3rd and 9 here for the Bombers. They don't want to give the ball right back. They want to chew up some time.
They're going to go to Oh, what a catch.
Great catch, but he was out of bounds.
Santagato, I mean, not much surprise there. It's almost as surprising as AIC giving the ball to Thomas. The passing situation, need a first down, go there. How about that concentration going along the sideline to make that catch with 2 people around him? Some of the AIC finest.
Let's see what Ed Mahoney can do here. He's punting from his 10. He's had a career day kicking the ball.
They got to put the rush on and try and keep some of these white shirts around the line of scrimmage.
Low kick.
Off the field.
Spiraling, but it takes a Bombers bounce. Loose football, then covered up by AIC. That was Micah Pierce who brought a Maylocks moment to his coach and players on the AIC sideline.
I'll tell you, this is the best field position that AIC has had, and there's the benefits of taking that drive out from in the shadow of their goal line, taking it up to about the 35-yard line. They pick up about 6 yards on the exchange, and they get to start in really good, an area where they can get the ball to Thomas deep on the pitch and let him see what he can do.
4:11 left in this one.
They've got to come to the left side, right off the tackle, give him room to go.
Rashid makes his cut. Taken down at the line of scrimmage. Great run defense that time by Scott Connolly.
Defense does a nice job, not really giving him room to go. They get it to him where he wants it. Avoids, look at that, he avoids 1 or 2 tacklers, but finally, Conley is there, and he just gets the leg tackle. Gets by him, makes 2 people miss, though.
Griezmer also in on the tackle. Thomas cut down again. That time it was big Tom Kittle, defensive tackle.
I think it's time for the bootleg again. There's the defense.
Watch 71 in white.
And also turning it inside is Squire. You know, once again, team effort. May or may not get a tackle on that or an assist, but he certainly forced the action back to where he had some help.
3rd and 11.
I would roll out and bootleg.
Russell. Across the middle, complete! And a first down to Lopez.
Nice catch by Lopez. Tell you what, that time he went past the sticks. As we take a look at it, straight drop out of the right-hand side. Lopez is just on a crossing pattern, and there's an open area right in the middle of the field. Not a perfect spiral, but Lopez curled out there, crossed over, and was open. Unfortunately for AIC, we've got a holding penalty that's going to push it back. Another penalty that has hurt them. Coaching staff does not like the call, or at least wants to know what the call was. I didn't see it.
Oh, it's ineligible receiver. That's what it was.
That's even worse. In a straight passing situation, how can a lineman be downfield? I mean, you might be able to buy a holding call. You don't want it to happen, obviously. But when you've got an ineligible receiver downfield in a straight drop, it's almost hard. It's hard to understand how that could possibly happen.
Now 3rd and 16 for the Yellow Jackets. The freshman quarterback, Keon Russell. Trouble. Pitches off to Rashid Thomas, but he's taken down at the 30.
2:32. I don't know. It's a tough decision for the coaching staff. What do you do? Punt the ball? Or do you try and get it? They don't really have the deep passing game that gets those kind of plays very often. I think they're going to have to punt it, start using timeouts, and just, they've got to come up with a stop. They'll say it's just up to the defense. No 2-minute warning in college football, so you don't get the stop there. They've already used at least 1 timeout.
That keeps for the Bombers.
Jeff Whittier, the senior punter out of Belchertown, Massachusetts.
How about the fake?
Well, now AIC changing up. They're going to do it.
I think this is a good move. They've got to do it.
2:06 on the clock. 17-13 Bombers and the Yellow Jackets with a gutsy call here. It's not 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. It's 4th and 16.
I think I would put it in, I say this every time like a broken record, but I would try and send my receivers downfield like they're going for the sticks, throw it underneath in a screen or like a flare area to Thomas, and just let's see what he can do if he can get an open field against people.
Or a draw to Thomas, perhaps. Here we go, 4th and 16.
Likely wide receiver is Lopez, who split out to the left.
Russell in the pocket, now flushed out. Keon Russell.
Fumble. He's got a fumble. Kenny Stabler.
Yeah, he should have, well, easy to say up here, but he might have looked for a lateral there as he was about 9 yards short of the first down at the 40.
Thing is, in a situation like that, you're right. You know, you're taught not to fumble,
right?
Obviously, but you're going to lose the ball anyway, so more than likely Ithaca's not going to pick it up and run. They're going to dive on the ball. Of course, again, that's easy to sit here and say and watch it, but this guy is dangerous. Turns a nice run, gains about 14 or 15 yards. Now they've got to tackle the ball right here, and they've got to use those timeouts.
Blood barrels through the line for a couple. 1:51 on the clock. And a timeout for the Yellow Jackets.
Big question is, I'm not sure how many they have left. I think they've only got one left. I could be wrong. 150 remaining. Obviously, Ithaca's just going to try and grind it out, not take anything at risk, and more importantly, not stop the clock. Force AIC to use the timeouts to stop the clock. And if they get one first down, the party's over.
AIC has no timeouts left, Dave, and Ithaca has one.
Well, it's safe to say Ithaca's probably not going to be calling any in this circumstance. So they are going to have to tackle the football.
Yeah, they've got to obviously prevent the first down here. It's 2nd and 8 from the 39.
To me, it's almost time to just kneel down. Take as much time off as you can and then just kneel down.
Or backpedal.
We saw last year in the ECAC Division III championship game, Rob Marchitello give up a 200-yard game by taking it to run out the clock. He ran back 15 yards and gave up 200 yards. I like guys who do stuff like that.
Hodari Martin lunges ahead. Got about 5.
We're, of course, feverishly contemplating what the Chevy drive of the game is. Martin on the quick hitter off the right-hand side, just squirts through. Look at him, 2 hands, not 2 hands on the football. Almost loses it on the way down, as a matter of fact.
Clock ticking with 1:22. 3rd and 4. Big play here. AIC must stop.
And
they do. Hodari Martin straight through the line.
I'll tell you right now, if I'm Ithaca, I'm not going to punt the ball. I'm going to just see if I can run it out, take my time. That, or I'm going to, before I punt the ball, wait until the 25-second clock runs out, which would take it down to about 22 seconds. Either way, I want to take my time. And if AIC is going to get the ball, it's going to be with about 15 seconds to go.
They're just going to let the time clock run out, 4 seconds on it, and they'll take the penalty.
I think there's too many bad things that can happen on a punt, even though they probably won't. To, a bad snap over center, a run back, a block.
AIC's got to be coming at Mahoney here, although they've got 2 return men back, Micah Pierce and Lee Morgan. Or, excuse me, Morgan Lee. Read it backwards. Mahoney at his 48. Low snap! Mahoney lost it! He's got to cover up! Buried at the 40. It went right through the wickets, right through his legs.
Now the snap was low, and then he had pressure from the outside. Kogel comes from the bottom of your screen. There it is, low, and he took his eyes off the ball. And here comes Kogel, and my man, Bursey, who's made 2 big plays here in the second half. And now with no timeouts, they've got to go to the outside, but they're on the 40-yard line, and they have 32 seconds to go.
They trail by 4. They need a touchdown. And Sanz is in at quarterback, the experienced one. Sanz complete to Lopez. Inbounds.
Big tackle.
They kept him inbounds.
Perlman just chased him down. They've got to down the football.
17 seconds. Why down it? Go deep. Now they just down it to stop the clock. And we got 12 seconds left. This one's going down to the wire. There you see Matt Sanz out of Treadwell. Perlman, as you mentioned, Dave, made the play here.
Stop the ball from going out of bounds on the rollout as they are coming up to the line of scrimmage. There's the big tackle by Perlman.
Here we go. 3rd and 8 from the 37. Sanz looking downfield, throwing to the corner. Nobody there. And 6 seconds left. He probably has one more play.
What was I saying about, it reminded me of the quarterbacks, remind me of the Colorado quarterbacks. Set up what happened earlier when they played Michigan earlier in the year. Except Russell is out of the game.
So they got to set up the tip play here, right?
They had to bring in a couple of guys from the AIC basketball team, which very good team last year. Jimmy Powell's Yellow Jackets throwing the alley-oop to the end zone.
Here we go, 4th down. This is it. Sanz has got to connect. Throwing it to the corner. Micah Pierce, and it's incomplete. The ball game is over. No flags. The ball game is over, and the Ithaca Bombers hold on 17-13. Great game.
Certainly a great finish. AIC hung in there. I thought, well, they were right down to being out of the ball game, and then they made the great stop to prevent the touchdown on the goal line, and they kept themselves in it. And they didn't give up. They made it right down to the last play. They on the punt got themselves in position to win the game, or at least contend to win the game. So give them credit there, and it really was a terrific ball game. And there is a site that they canceled in youth baseball in California. There's a big story in the Globe and other places about how they canceled the handshake because of troubles teams have been having, the organizers of the league.
Now, no troubles here. These two teams need to look each other square in the eye and say, good game, because it was a good game on both sides of the ball. Ithaca, the victors, they improved their series record to 14-7 over AIC, and they have now won their last 4 in a row over the Yellow Jackets. Final score here, 17-13, Ithaca Bombers. We'll be back right after this.